Hello. Hello. If you talking, I can't hear you, bro. Yo, honestly, if you talking, I can't hear you. All I hear is static, like you glitching. Still ain't hearing up, but static, bro. And glitching.
Can you hear me?
All right, now I can hear you. Loud.
Testing, testing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I can hear you.
All right. Okay. All right. Wait, you can.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you.
no?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Or
Can
can
you
you
hear
only
me?
hear East?
I can hear East and you.
Yes isn't an answer. Can you hear me or can you only hear East?
I can hear it. Honestly,
I can hear you both.
All right, there we go.
Can you hear me?
All right, so East can't be
All right,
heard
can you hear
right
me?
now. God damn. All right,
All right, I'm gonna drop out, drop back in.
hold on.
Hello, hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Anything else? Too?
I don't think Aniki can hear me.
That's it.
I cannot hear either
Okay.
of you.
Okay.
Hello. All right. Hold on. Let me drop in, drop out.
Yeah, me too.
So we just can't hear each other. All right, that's
Yeah.
wild. All right, I'm gonna start the chapter at least. Hopefully, when they come back in, I'll be able to hear them.
Hello, hello.
You guys back in? Are
Can you
you
hear me?
talking, Ian? I cannot hear you.
Ah. Hello, hello.
All right. Hello. Can y'all hear me now?
Pull up the chapter first. Screw this. I'm mad now. All right, MHA 284, real. Ooh.
Can you hear me?
If Shigaraki touches the ground again, it'll mean another wave of mass destruction. Also, we're reading on the Viz app. Let me link that in the chat real quick.
Yo, can you hear me now?
I don't think he can hear us, East. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think he's just
Make
like,
sure you
all
guys
right.
are following along if you can. What up, Tarnish? Glad everybody's here. I still can't hear everybody, so I might have to pop in and out of this meeting later. We'll see, but I at least want to get through the chapter before I start messing around with that kind of stuff. And if necessary, I'll just do a second stream after the first chapter stream where I read through and see if that fixes everybody's audio. So we might have to do a two-parter today. We'll see what happens. Let's see. All right, I got to keep them up in the air. Deku's, yep. No good, my controller's shaky. See, this is good because people were complaining about this last week, or 2 weeks ago, thinking, ooh, Deep Blue Battle. I like the chapter title too. Let's see. Take care of Gran Torino and the rest. They need first aid now. Get to it, Shoto. How pathetic. The #1 hero should be up there. It should be me. Hang on, Deku. Yo, this is wild. Deku really just set the #1 pro hero aside and told him, hey, yo, get on the bench. This nigga benched Endeavor. How you get benched as a pro hero? That's wild. Hang on, Deku. You're the one guy who needs to keep his distance from that creep. He's no longer being held back by erasure. But who else can keep Shigaraki off the ground? You like the sky that much? Good, because after I steal One for All, I'll send you straight to heaven. Same goes for that old fool and the others down there. Yo, the trash talk that Shigaraki is dropping on people. He's been memeing. Nah, I love it. You're not gonna hurt them anymore. Let's see, pulled in. You want to help us to help with this training? Oh, we're getting a flashback. I like this. All right, so what should we do? Thanks for taking the time to be here. I'd like some advice about handling my new power. You mean Black Whip? I thought you were whipping like a pro already. And what's with the new dude? It's because I keep losing in a training exercise we call Catch Kachan with the Black Whip. Haven't caught him once yet. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Sarah, about dealing with the fast-moving target since you've got a similar quirk. Catch a Kachan rules. If Bakugo evades capture and taps Deku, Bakugo wins. But why do explosions come into play? Once a jerk, always a jerk, huh, Bakugo? Deku's the one who said to make it like a real battle. Ooh, see, that's good because it's progression of that's further highlighting their progression. Finally getting this back.
He ain't seen nothing yet.
I love this. That's what we need. Deku's the one who said to make it like a real battle. Then tell me what I can do. I'm still learning how to use my wires. And shouldn't Aizawa Sensei be the man to teach whip techniques? Professor Uraraka, you're here to teach him about body control while breaking in midair. But Deku's already good at bouncing around like hippity hoppity. Well, more power means increased hang time. Oh, and he needs to master advanced mobility in the air. As for Aizawa, your teacher is busy at the moment. I've already got everyone's moves written down, Sensei's too. I think we can find some common ground in terms of how we use our bodies. Imagine you're swimming through the air, but keep your arms and legs balanced. Good. Okay, so that's how it works. Propulsion via air force. There you go. Now stay up in the air and get some coaching on Black Whip. Got it. It's going great, huh? The float quirk suspends the body in midair, much like her zero gravity. Getting a feel for it ahead of time should help keep it under control. When it manifests, plus conceptualizing what it's like to fly could lead to unlocking it. Man, this is it's weird because this is a way more like dialogue focused chapter than we've gotten in a while, but I actually very much enjoy it. You can't keep fooling people forever. This ain't like when it was just super strength. Pretty soon the cat's gonna fly out of the bag. I'm not telling anyone about anything beyond Black Whip, and this training should prevent the next power from exploding out the way this one did. That night you seem to understand how someone who has great power bestowed upon them needs to think very carefully about how it puts others at risk. It's not only the wicked who seek power. Deku trusts you with his life, but in the notebook about successors, your summary of the fourth was kind of half finished. Only that one. Meanwhile, you wrote down detailed notes for the others, like the cause of death for the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Why is that? Yo,
people.
Is All Might's a Dumbledore. All Might be a Dumbledore.
Yep.
And when I brought it up,
for sure, man,
you didn't tell me everything, huh?
He can't hear.
What is it? Did you figure something out about One for All? Not yet. I don't want to speculate and talk about things I'm not sure of because I'm worried for him. And you are too. He just deep down, he doesn't take himself into account, you know? He's always been like that. And now that he can do so much more, something doesn't feel right. It makes me want to keep him at an arm's way. Back then, I ignored my own weakness, so I ended up bullying him. Oh shit, I know Bakugo aunties are fucking heated right now. Are y'all okay? I bet y'all on life support right now. fuck? I got the whole squad pulling up and I can't hear none of you niggas. I'm definitely pulling out this meeting. I'm gonna end up handing the control of it over to East, and then I'm gonna try to come back in. But for right now, I can't hear anybody. So
The controls of me.
East, you're gonna have to send me the link once I like hand the meeting to you, even though I can't hear you. All right? Bet.
All right.
Just send a message so you coordinate and tell me you actually understand the plan.
All right.
Mhm.
What's your way of trying to atone, right? But now you're sincerely helping out with this training. That's your way of trying to atone, right? Oof. Oof. Precision over power. Nice and easy. I get it. Think of it as an extension of your body, though I'm sure he doesn't see it that way. When I said you and Endeavor are a lot alike, I was talking about that change. He couldn't take a good look at himself either until I wound up like this. You'll get a chance to talk eventually. Not that I'm in a position to say much. Endeavor. Yo, he grabs Endeavor. You got to make this final one count. Okay, Endeavor is getting embarrassed right now, and I feel kind of bad that I have to, like, I'm saying this out loud, but like, Bakugo is dragging Endeavor into the sky after Deku benched him. Like, god damn. Oh, fuck. This is embarrassing. I hope the news is catching this. And I like Endeavor now, but like, nah, this got to get caught on air. And, ooh.
Yeah, like
I was wondering to see if Deku was finally
tone.
going to use them Iron Souls. The way he just kicked through Shigaraki's guts. Let's go. Looks like he's adapting to my 100% attacks and taking his hits, but his wounds are healing slower. The damage is sticking. The last two 100% attacks wrecked my left arm. Shigaraki now possesses all for one. And one for all is the power passed down for the sole purpose of beating all for one. He has to go down here. Now's the moment to let it all out. Everything that one for all has to offer. No matter what happens to me. That's what oh, fuck. Is Deku gonna lose both arms? This thing gonna be running around like the girl from Legend of Korra. He pulling the Korra treatment. My man gonna be running around. Yeah, bro. All right. Let me hop out of this meeting so I can hopefully get back in and have audio finally. Have y'all, real quick before I leave this meeting and like hope that fixes it. East, Ian, Ponzu, can you guys hear each other?
Oof.
Okay, so yeah, it's just my audio being weird.
A good chapter.
All right. Let's see. Will it even let me leave this one? Or am I gonna have to do a second one? Let's see. All right, hold on. All right.
East?
All right, he left. Yeah.
Okay. So we are just alone right now.
Yes, it's just us.
Okay. So let's get it started. What a chapter, bro.
Yeah, that shit was fucking banging, boy. That Bakugo development. Let's talk to these niggas. Who you talking to?
Man, when I'm telling to people, Bakugo is the best character in this series. Koe Sensei did it again, man. Did it again, bro. That development, man. You know, when he was talking to the kid, that he knew that he was spitting. You know, it feels good. It feels really good.
Yeah, and the fact that Deku's handling his flow port
Mm-hmm.
because he was training for it this prior to this, fucking amazing. We can get on a kid back in here. Ian, where you at?
Okay, wait 2 seconds. I'm gonna see the comments too because when Aniki was reading, I was reading too. So didn't put the channel on the right time. Okay,
Where the fuck
guys,
you go?
don't forget to like the video. Okay, so don't forget to like the video, guys. Thank you. And yeah, let's talk about it. So, hello everybody.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm trying to mainly hold off to Anarchy because he's back already. That's what I was trying to hold off.
does his sound work? Nah.
He's switching headphones right now.
Your
Unless you had that.
Tarnish. I'm gonna shout out the people here. Hello, hello, Titiona, T Magnificent, Adam D Blurt, Dan, Red Scarlet, Salome, Tarnish, Yo Man, Gioni, JJ Candelenbra. Oh man, if I butcher your name, guys, sorry, guys, really sorry. Veronica and Jack Axel, welcome to the conversation. And all the watchers, thank you for coming for this session of the Church of MHA. And yeah, what did you like the chapters, guys? Tell me in the comments, in the chat.
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to stall for Anarchy. I got beat. Here he is. Fucking
Audio is back. Let's go.
Okay, we got BG
Oh, you're back.
and Ian just joined.
Are you all there?
Right
Yeah, I'm here, Ponzu. And we got Ian coming back. DG, pull it up. Let's go.
Allez.
Fuck these hoes for being broken now.
I was trying to host the thing, but I was like feeling myself like really lost for a moment.
I was trying not to talk about this shit, but I was like, Pazu handle it. I was like, Pazu shout out the chat. I was like, that's a GOAT move right there. That's a smart move.
Man, I'm just glad that shit finally, man. Okay, so first off, I love this because like the Bakugo doc, like this might actually be my favorite chapter of this arc, and it's not even an dog. Horikoshi a madman, bro.
I told you niggas stop doubting my GOAT.
I'm loving that Bakugo gross.
That's what I'm see, and like the thing is that
Bakugo for number 1, best character of my MHA. Nothing to say, man.
Never
Nothing.
that.
Wow, are you capping right now, man? Are you capping right now?
Oh, let me get Florian in here. He'll back you up.
Of course he will. Of course we'll cap for Bakugo.
You know, I was just thinking about that nigga today. So I was like, man, I need to hit up my boy Flo. I ain't heard him from him in a minute.
Man, let me get in that nigga DMs real quick.
But what is it? I mean, did you since you don't read scans, you missed all the controversy.
Oh, what was this week's mistake that they decided to?
It wasn't necessarily a mistake. It's just more. It was just more like the dialogue was framed slightly differently. But even then, the way the dialogue was framed in the scans too wasn't really a problem, because it was just him reiterating, and like, you know how he says here, the reason I compared you to Endeavor is because of that change. He said in the scans, all he really did was just reiterate that he reminds him of Endeavor. But people were reacting like that's the first time he said that, and they said that's like, you could imagine how you're hurting his feelings by saying this.
What?
Yes.
What? Such a stupid ass.
They were saying that like, yeah, Bakugo's still like hurt over this, and like, do you think he would really like to be compared to Endeavor? No, that's already gonna fuck him up more. So then everybody was trying to say
what the hell? He know nothing about Endeavor.
Yeah. Everybody was saying they're starting to hate All Might because of this.
What the hell?
Like,
oh no, that might have been the funniest controversy we've had yet.
Man, people have real problems because what Bakugo knows about Endeavor. He's a father. He's the number 1 hero.
No, that's not the problem. They don't. It's not because of the abuse. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that like he's being like he still harbors the resentment against himself for causing All Might to be taken out of the spot. So it's gonna hurt him to be compared to the man who took his spot. Like he has some sort of
What type of ass pull reaching fucking hogwash at the
Man,
back
I
of
tried to understand. I tried to understand.
I get what they're saying, but it doesn't make any sense because there's no evidence to support this. Like, I get what the argument they're trying to make.
Okay.
No.
I just don't agree with it because there's no evidence for it.
They reach it. You know how hard you had to reach.
They're absolutely reaching. I'm just saying I get what they're trying to say. It's
So-
just that's not the case.
Niggas need to read correctly. They need to comprehend and read correctly every word. They need to read every word that they're reading.
Well, yeah,
So
no, like,
here's the issue with that, right?
yeah.
Is that people do not give Bakugo enough credit for actually developing his self-awareness. A self-aware person is not going to be offended by having someone highlight their objectively true flaws that are reminiscent of certain problems. Bakugo back then, like when you think back to chapters like 117, 118, 119, Deku versus Kachan 2, that was him coming to terms with, like, and people need to realize Bakugo is harder on himself than a lot of people are. So he would have already started noticing that he was a fucking crab ass and that like might get in his way. That was literally emphasized to him during provisional license. He failed the provisional license because of his similarities to Endeavor. Like the reason, part of why he isn't like the symbol is because of his quirk. Oh snap, man, we gotta say this.
Come on, the first thing I heard is similarities to Endeavor.
So
Like,
like,
no wonder she pulled up. We've been here for like 15, 20 minutes. No wonder she pulled up now.
oh no,
He started talking
because
to them.
Sayas
Yeah.
doesn't check the server or she's not in it. I can't remember which one.
No, I
She
am
hasn't-
in it, but I don't check it, at least not regularly.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I had to make
I
sure I
always
sent
check
it to
on
her directly.
I would check on this day.
But I haven't read the
These-
chapter yet, so should I mute you for a
Yes,
while?
mute me,
Yeah.
mute us,
Alright,
so you can read that chapter.
Read the
Sayas.
chapter so you
Alright.
can join this discussion.
Oh,
But yeah, no, that shit, because that was a whole big ass little thing on Twitter about how it's fuck All Might season.
But this ain't even the first time because he did it when they first started
Hold
talking
up.
about the youth.
Time
When
out,
they started
time
talking
out.
about the
Mm-hmm.
what's up?
What is it?
JJ, you watched the debate between me and Silas from Freedom State? Because that shit was wild. That was like an hour and a half of a nigga just being ridiculously stubborn.
In regards to what? What was the context?
I think we were discussing, I think the debate was Bakugo versus Yusuke as characters.
Oh no, that dream was fucking brazy, dog. Nigga,
Bakugo versus
What kind of comparison is this?
Bakugo
Bro.
versus who?
Bakugo
Yusuke.
versus Yusuke Urameshi. If you go
As
on
characters.
that,
As characters.
I think you could go to Dustin's channel and still find it.
Well, what kind of fuck ass comparison is this?
Somebody just like, he was basically like, I challenge you to debate me about like the quality of an MHA character. And I was like, all right, I'll just defend Bakugo. And he was like, all right, I'll go like, he was like, what you call it? He was like,
Yusuke.
oh, Yusuke's a better character, so I'll argue that Yusuke's a better character. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. We can have this like character debate pissing match. But like, nah, bro. Homie was wilding.
Damn.
I'm glad that like that was amusing enough though that like people who were there remember it. Cause yeah. I was like, bro, he was directly stated to have an inferiority complex. Nah, bro, he's not. That's not what he's got. I was like, all right, I can't keep arguing with somebody who is going to argue with what was written in the story. I can't do anything with that. Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
like,
that's
once you start saying like, no, he doesn't have the thing that was directly stated. I'm like, all right, this conversation can't go anywhere.
Oh, you know, that's why I don't debate like that no more.
Like, yeah.
But no. Anyway, back to the point at hand. Yeah. So, regardless of that, there was something I wanted to mention. Yeah, so what is, before I actually get to my point, I want to know what y'all think first. Why do y'all think that the fourth user's information was got like scribbled out?
The fourth user must have a transformation quirk. That's why that he put it away.
A what quirk?
A transformation quirk that he got like his body change.
Really?
That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, because that's what my theory is about, you know, because he must be based on Devilman, the hero. So if he's like a Devilman, he must be being portrayed as a monster in the history of MH of the My Hero Academia. So he just grabbed him away. That's why.
So I'm thinking about that, but I think something that might be an issue is that, especially with the emphasis of this chapter, the fourth user's quirk might fuck up your lifespan.
I was going to say, like the theory that I heard
Mhm.
was due to him being the fourth user with and being coasted she and being like related to death. It was that we had a belief that he has some sort of like death quirk. That's what I said. And Infinity Girl went a little bit further on that. She gave like her own little theory about what that death quirk might be, which is that it's a quirk that it'll allow you to, it'll force you to witness someone's death, so you'll know how they'll die and when they'll die.
Ooh. That.
Finally.
Hey, Ian's finally here.
The
So
goat is here.
let's
go.
Let's go, man.
This man was loading his audio for like 10 minutes.
I will tell you something, because the colors were associated with the fourth user is green, and
Green?
green, yeah, green is the color of luck and unluck too. And let me search it up on my thing. I put it all down in my thread, and
Are you talking about when they like in the anime when they showed all the when they showed like the little like colors?
Yeah. Every character is like linked to a color. Every user of One for All, and that's why the first one is linked to white, because he's pure. Is the first one. Is the start, and the fourth is green, and green is associated with the color of hope, luck, unluck, stability, and failing. So. And it's also a color which always used a lot in a religion, because it's a color of hope and nature. So, like I said, every user of One for All is a reference to superheroes of that he put on his first page. Ricochet. He put like the first heroes. You see that in chapter 1. He put some in a case some heroes, and everyone. For the moment, we get three heroes were like confirmed be reference to heroes. One is Wolverine, and Nana is Superman, and I forgot his name.
Daigoro is Spider-Man.
Daigoro is Spider-Man, and that's what I said is that All Might was the hero with antennas. Like I forgot their name. The
hero that's what?
With antennas. Kamen Rider. Yeah,
Kamen Rider.
Kamen Riders, because he get the antennas, it can transform to a muscular form, just get a transformation to skinny to powerful, and yeah, and the colors of yellow are power, joys, feast, and lies and deception. The deception of All Might, being from tall might to small might,
Also, the deception of him as a teacher, because he's intentionally withholding information at this point
we lost
from
you.
the student.
You lost
did?
you.
You lost me?
Ale, you're back right now.
Okay. I was like, fuck.
Hey, Aniki.
I heard him.
Hey, Aniki.
What up?
Should I try to make you the host again, or would that?
You would have to leave and then select me as the host.
Okay, so should we try, or should we just keep it rolling?
I guess you could switch it out just in case you have to do something else today.
So I'm done.
Right.
I lost connection for a while, but I'm done.
Okay, you read the chapter, Sayas? What you think?
I really like the Bakugo parts. I mean, that's awesome. The whole flashback. Though the Midoriya's new hairdo is just ridiculous.
What you mean? My man got the afro.
Yeah, but it's like the explosion afro.
I mean, look, he had to put some respect on his name. They said he was racist, so he had to go back to the 70s and get his groove on. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I really like the chapter. Yeah, I do kind of wonder how the control training should keep the next quirk from just popping out, but whatever. But I really like the talk between All Might and Bakugo. I think that was the highlight.
Well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily to keep it from that. Was a hope he had, but this main purpose was so he'll know how to control it whenever he does get it.
Anyway, I'm now waiting for the next chapter's finale. It sounds like we're now talking about like the last few
Yeah, this
final
I
chapters, right?
I feel like the next chapter is gonna be might be the end of the fight, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's the end of
there's
the
way
arc
more to this.
No,
because
I-
Yeah,
there's way
think-
too
I
much
mean
shit.
the
Yes.
arc might need another few moments to.
No, the way I picture this was by the end of the next chapter, that's when Shiggy turns the tables back again on his own. Because if Deku hit this last hit, that means Shigaraki gonna be up in the air, falling, what have you not. And then that means, and then based off what Bakugo has said, that means it'll start right back up with Endeavor, not taking too long to get hit Shiggy with everything he's got. And then by whatever means, then if Shigaraki just flips the script, because he still hasn't used a single one of his new quirks at all on this fight
Deku
yet.
just kind of speed blitzed him for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
But this all happened in like the span of like less than a minute. So
Yeah,
this
and now
was
that
literally
Deku was,
this was like pop him in the air, hit him twice, drop everybody down. Like he probably only had Black Whip going like this was probably like a span of like 10, 15 seconds.
Was
Yeah.
Deku only hitting him with his left arm?
No, he
Yeah,
switched to his
no,
right
his
on the
right.
Yeah,
last panel.
he switched. Yeah, well, which
'Cause
one
his
was the
left is fucked
which one
up.
was the fucked up arm previously? Not
Left.
from
Right. The right arm is
Right.
more damaged.
right if he fucks it up again, he'll be doomed.
That one
Yes.
is the one that
Yeah.
has the extra stars.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ian's so
So-
happy because that nigga about to lose his fucking right arm. Ian's gonna be elated that stream.
Do you
boy.
think it was just him breaking it in general, or do you think it's him damaging it to the point that he did in the camp?
We know at this point it's gonna be to the point where he can't even, because he said he used it twice on the other one on the left, and that's done for. And then he just used it on the right. Yeah.
Say what?
I said
Ian can go.
that Chekhov's gun has to fire, where the doctor's like 2 or 3 more times of you overexerting yourself to save people, and you will lose the use of your arms. And then after he fought Bakugo, Horikoshi made a point to have a scene where he's like, "Ooh, I remember when the doctor told me if I overuse my arms again." And it's like, well, why even bother bringing that up? It wasn't even like he used 100% in that fight. But he's trying to keep this idea in like people's heads of like, if he overexerts himself, if he goes too far, there could be irreparable damage that goes even further than what he's done. And then this literal chapter ends with him using his right arm, saying, "I'm going to put everything into it, 1,000,000%, basically, no matter what the consequences are." So I'm like, yes, the armless Deku theory is going to happen. Luke Skywalker robot arm, here we come.
No, I don't want the robot hand. Give
Me
Black
neither.
Whip. Black Whip arm.
I mean, I don't see either of those happening. Honestly,
I don't really want him to lose his arm anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not
I
gonna
don't
use it at
want him to lose his
Yeah,
arm.
I want to say,
Listen, that arm is done for. Hell, listen.
Oh yeah,
If
we're
you
talking
lose
about
it-
the man. We're talking about the man who don't waste panels. You think he just gonna load this in multiple times after the fact, like on multiple occasions? Even the fact that his arm is still damaged and he can still feel tings in it, because after the cultural festival, he was waving by the area. He put his hand in the air, and then it was like a little pop or a click, like
Yeah,
something.
like his arm started throbbing.
Yeah, for no reason.
Whenever he beat Overhaul, Horikoshi made sure to be like, "Don't worry, his right arm that's badly damaged wasn't healed. It still has all the damage from before. So like, we're gonna get some sort of payoff." Now, am I saying it's gonna fly off? No, that's stupid.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really understand the purpose of giving him this weakened arm if he's gonna lose it anyway. I mean, the payoff is that his arm is damaged. If it's gone, then I mean, if it would be gone, he wouldn't need to have all this time before where he says, "Oh, this arm is still damaged. It's still damaged. It's still damaged."
Yeah,
but now he
'cause this
loses
is
anyway,
going up.
because now what does it matter if it was damaged before? I mean, if he
Well,
loses anyway.
the point is that it's a reflection of his self-sacrificing nature.
Yeah, now
The
he's
fact,
gone to
like-
the point of this.
Yeah, like it's not like the payoff for that is more over because Deku is so dedicated, because Deku takes these risks, because Deku refuses to just settle.
He's done this to
and, like,
himself,
take
and he'll
these
never be
losses.
a pro hero. Like, he'll never be a prime hero ever again. Like, he won't be able to do that because his arm's just done.
Right. Like it's the cost of war, basically.
Well, and it's the cost of his really poor mentality of that I have to do this all alone. I have to sacrifice myself. That's why his quirk is so perfect, that it's the quirk that literally is like, if you want to win, you have to sacrifice parts of yourself. And so for it to go from sports festival where he to save Todoroki's heart, he messed up his hand really bad and that set up a timer. Then to save Kota, he wrecked it so bad that he had to completely switch a style. And then now we're coming to this point where he's thinking like he said in this chapter, who else is going to do this? But he can't do it. He's not powerful enough. He's not strong enough. He's not good enough. And this is going to lead to, like, I think the final switch of him going from, like, just realizing he can't be All Might. Like, he physically can't even do it anymore.
Well, that's going to make it to the nature of him being the greatest because he works with others rather than working on his
because
own.
he builds up other people at the cost of himself
and-
creates even
And
greater.
you know, I've been thinking about that line, that line a lot lately too. When All Might, typically at MC, at All Might says you're the one that needs to be the ultimate evil and this, that, and the other. But when they had that convo, after he found out the truth about All Might, he said he didn't just say now it's just your turn. He changed it again. He said, "Nah, it's all of your turns." So it's just the culmination of God damn, what the hell? Oh, it's just a culmination of the entire series. It's never been just about Deku. This entire arc wouldn't even happen had it just been based. We just focus on Deku. There's more things at play than just Deku here. So that they even adds to the theme all more so. What All Might was talking about, it's all y'all turns. The rise of the next generation. Endeavor showing that we don't need to rely on one man anymore. Because you see what happens when that happens. It's about all of us coming together as one.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the value of the arm. It's not for shock value. Like, that's not why I was like hyped for it. I'm hyped for it because if that happened, that's pretty much the culmination of all of Deku's flaws finally being fully realized. If he just like, it's just like, yeah, your arms are done.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just a gore. People think it's just like we just want a gore mangled up Deku. No, because this is the man who tell me when this nigga Horikoshi wasted a panel for something that just like stitches you don't think is meaningful. Later on, comes back and he didn't waste the fucking panel.
The thing is, I don't
come back
think
at this point. But to come back at this point, he's reiterated it multiple times. Once again. This arm, this specific arm, the right arm, over the course of this entire thing is like, you can't keep doing this to yourself. Even Cover Girl said, you can't keep doing this to yourself. They keep telling you can't keep doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
And then now he comes back at the end. You listen, whatever the consequences, I don't care. And at this point, where he had to give it his all against Shigaraku's ultimate evil, if he didn't, he'd be fucking screwed. So
yeah, no, I get
What are you
it,
gonna
I
say,
get it.
Sayas? Yeah,
No,
what
I
were
get
you
it.
gonna say?
I just thought that I don't think it would be without payoff just because he doesn't lose his arm. I think that even if he keeps his arm, if it really is just at the point where he can't use it anymore, that would already be payoff. I don't really need him.
Yes.
Oh, no,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least when I say lose his arm, I don't mean physically lose his arm. I mean,
Yeah.
use
I'm
of his
not saying
arm.
physically lose it. No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, lose the use of his arm.
Whoa! Time
I think
out.
maybe
Why didn't y'all
it's
tell me Roger was in the chat?
Huh?
Roger.
Roger wants to
Yo,
join.
yo,
Yo!
pull this nigga here.
Hold up.
Yo, drop Holy
You're
the
Roger.
league.
Hold up.
Oh, he's in the text.
Yeah.
Yo, slide the link to his DMs.
Yeah, I'm about to.
But
But yeah, no. So there's a lot of like that. So that's why I'm like, because like I've heard people talk about they want him to get robot arms. I don't want that.
no, I don't want a
No,
robot arm
no,
because then
no.
that removes the scars, and you have to keep all of the buildup from the people he saved before. You have
And
to have
yeah,
the scars.
which mechanical arm will resist one for all, man? I don't know which.
There is
metal-
one thing. There is one thing that's not gonna make sense to me though. If he was,
I sent him the link.
No, to be honest,
how's he
Let's
gonna use
go.
Black Whip?
No. What?
the
Black
other
Whip
arm, I guess.
is linked to the body. It's linked to the body, so he can, if he's really can attain some form of it, he can use it from whenever part of his body if he really wants to.
I mean, if we use the
He
concept,
can use Black Whip from his feet.
If we
I would like it.
use the concept from the first movie, I mean, it's simple to create like a tool that like if he just used a bracer on his arm that help him, like when people have like fucked up knees or whatever, you know how they have like the braces that like are bolted in their knees too, like, and it just helps them rotate and this, that, and the other. It could be as similar to that because the technology is advancing faster, so he doesn't have to have a big bulky like built arm. It's like they can use nanotechnology and shit like that because they hinted at Endeavor's new gear, his fucking like fly nano gear came from America, and like the volume extras they was talking about.
Hey,
he went like,
Hey.
Greetings, my man Roger. How you doing?
Oh,
Let's go!
Yo, let's go.
Oh wait, no, Roger is still loading in. He's got the Mario
All right.
hat on though. He's excited.
All right, here we are.
What
Perfect. All right, I got the whole thing squared away.
Hi.
Good. Holy mackerel, this chapter. I literally just... Oh, man.
You just read it, and then, where can I talk about this?
Perfection.
Oh. Here's the thing, though, is, past couple have been really good in terms of action. That's actually not why I loved this one this much. Like, it was cool to see the float training, and it was cool to see the Black Whip training on all of that. But like, the thing that really got to me was that Bakugo scene with All Might.
Right, the conversation.
Yes, everybody,
Right.
he does with everybody, man.
Where the two of them are discussing that, and he's talking about like the quirks in the book and like why the fourth one is, you know, scratched out. And I was talking with my chat where they were saying, you know, like what the number 4 means in Japan and how it's kind of like a cursed number. And then thinking about like what that could mean for the future of the story. You know, I'm thinking back to what we talked about during that really long video discussion stream, like on my channel a couple months ago, about like where the story could go from here with All Might. And the more I'm thinking All Might's going to die really, really soon, like really soon.
Yep.
And leading into whatever the second half of the story is, that Bakugo basically becomes his keeper. Like, he becomes the one to have to train the second half of Deku's quirks because All Might's not going to be the one to be there. And just thinking about that possibility and seeing this conversation play out alongside, like, that he was training with Float and back. Yo, this was a fire chapter. This one,
And the
it was
artwork.
so, the artwork was, I mean, but the artwork's been incredible, I feel like.
Yeah.
But the artwork in particular, this chapter was superb. Yeah.
But did you
So
say
I wanted to,
the final punch is a reference to? Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Aniki?
I was gonna say this is like one of the first chapters since Shigaraki has been like on screen this arc
yeah.
where he did not control the show.
I
This
know.
100% was like,
It made sense.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say that kick he does on Shigaraki reminds me of when they were showcasing their quirks and he like.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
it's
Yeah,
literally
sure.
I've compared the two. They look exactly the same, but the other one that looks exactly the same is that the punch he does looks just like Yutaka Nakamura's version of the overhaul punch, where he like he comes around and it's literally like the exact same shot. So and Horikoshi has seemingly taken inspiration from the anime before, like the All Might fist in the air. That wasn't originally after the sludge monster. He didn't do that in the manga. So it seems like he brought it back for when he fought All for One. So it seems like he takes cues from it, and it's really cool.
Oh, he does. He does.
yeah, no, Horikoshi isn't afraid to be like, that's a good idea.
He's actually like a lot of other mangakas. He's a fanboy of his own work.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Oh, you gotta say this. You got it.
No, so you start talking because I wanted to go back to the topic before.
We can. Yeah.
Came in with the arm.
Okay, go back.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we were talking about him damaging his arm and not having any useless panels
Right.
with Horikoshi. And I remember, like, in the very beginning of the story, there was this quote by Aizawa that when you break your own body, you're just useless and people need to save you. And I wonder if we actually get to a point where Deku now has to sacrifice his body or his health to a point where he can't continue fighting, if this will come back. Not necessarily that he uses his arm, but that it will come back that
Like for
then
this
Deku
battle.
will be a burden on the other heroes on the scene because
Did you guys
they have
talk
to
about
pull him out.
you bringing that up? Did you talk about like the Parasparrow theory with Deku?
Sparrow.
Yeah.
They're all
Sparrow,
big fans.
Sparrow,
Like, there's a big
What?
split here. Like Sayas and them, like
Yeah.
Sayas and BG was like, I don't think he necessarily has to lose the arm. I'm 100%.
Oh.
I've been pushing
He
the
lose the
Pharaoh
arm.
theory.
No.
Bro, because the whole thing is like quirks
no,
can be
no,
extensions
no,
of your own limbs. Like they even say that in the story mode. They said it in today's chapter.
I
They
think
mentioned that in the text of the story. That like they can become extensions of their limbs.
One at a time. BG got misinterpreted. BG, you go first. Roger says you can split it up second. BG, go. You got the floor.
I said I was misquoted. No, I don't want him to. I don't not want him to lose his arm.
Yeah.
I want him to use use of his arm. I see no purpose in him physically losing the arm. I just feel like it should be immobile. I don't feel like I don't feel like you gain anything from him actually.
So,
Sure.
Okay, now BG, now say yes, Roger. You two decide between the two of you who's going next.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. This is literally all I was gonna say is that I just think from a design aesthetic, it would be sick if his arm was gone and he had a Black Whip arm. Like he literally had an extension because the whole thing is like quirks can be extensions of your own limbs and all that kind of jazz. And that would really prove to us that like he's mastered it, because the whole thing that you hear from quirk users time and time again is that with so many of them, it's not even something they think about. It's not something they have to train. It's just a natural part of their body, like an inherent thing that they have. And so if he's gotten to the point where like he's mastered Black Whip and it's just his other arm, like it would be, not only would it look amazing, but I think from like a fight standpoint as well, the idea of then, okay, well, let's say the Black Whip becomes his limb, incorporating the one for all power like into the whips themselves and creating like an even more powerful type of Black Whip attack, I think it'd be sick.
I feel I feel like
Wait. Let's say
Oh,
let's go
say it,
because
say it,
I actually
say
it.
have something about that I want to build on later.
I
Cool, let's hear it.
initially thought that I don't want him to physically lose the arm and more like the use of the arm. But now that I thought about this Aizawa quote, I think I'm actually more on the edge that I do want him to lose the arm, but I don't want him to lose the arm in an heroic saving everybody type of way. But I
Right.
want him to actually, the thing is, like, since forever we've been in this entire arc we've been saying, like, or other characters like Bakugo have been saying, like, you have to stay away from the scene. You are the guy that Shigaraki wants to meet. You're the guy Crook wants to steal. And we've come back to this chapter again that, please, Deku, stay out of this because
Right.
you're the one he wants. And Deku is like, no, I have to fight because who else is? Who else can keep him in the air? Who else has this powerful Crook and do it? This is my job. I'm the person who should do it. And then we go back to Aizawa saying, when you break your own body to the point where other people have to save you, you're just a burden. So I think this might actually happen, that he thinks now he's going to make the difference and he's going to save everybody and he's going to destroy his body. And then everybody else has to save him because he has this quirk that Shigaraki cannot steal no matter what. And then he's just left in the aftermath with maybe one limb less and the realization that he was just this big burden and maybe somebody died because of that. And he tried to save people, but he couldn't.
I need to say something.
What is it?
So, because what you said about being useless if you can't do anything because you put too much strain on your body. The thing about this, what is good is that I think that he might lose people because of it. Like right now, we get Endeavor rushing to Shigaraki, trying to give him a blow, powerful blow. If it can be the reason why Endeavor die, because at one moment Deku will not handle all the power of One for All, and he will lose control. And at that moment, it is the moment where Shigaraki will use it to strike. He's a gamer, so he's gonna use it. He's gonna use this opportunity. So I think that Endeavor can be the pivotal role in this moment. We might lose him. We might lose him. So with this, we get the two number ones in Japan that are left in 1 year, that are disappeared in 1 year. We get a top 10 who's brought to dust. The whole situation in Japan will be for the future right now will be like dark. Right now, what you said is might be bring people to the people who are there right now might die because like as I was said,
he's becoming a burden if he lets himself break down too much.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
but
it's gonna bite him back in the ass really hard.
Okay, so what I want to do though is talk about what Roger brought up though about the mastery of Black Whip. One of the reasons why I want him to do the Black Whip arm, but specifically I want it to actually end up looking like an arm, because one of the things that was like an emphasis of skill was literally shape manipulation.
Yes.
So if he and like a 100% Black Whip apparently generate like mile length threads, like when you think about its debut. So compressing and like putting all of that into the shape of his arm could lead to some really interesting attacks, but it would also give him the ability to like make an arm that's like way bigger. So
he can have a huge
right. So like
if it didn't look like an actual arm,
not
only
only
like
this.
Sarah's Victoria when she lost her arm.
I feel like the reason I don't want something like that, because that kind of just takes away from the consequence, because it honestly is more of a benefit in the long run than a consequence.
No,
I think
because
for the time it won't be a benefit,
No,
right?
I'm sure it won't, but I'm saying in the end of the day, it will be more beneficial. It would have been more beneficial for him to lose the arm rather than him to keep his arm.
Sure.
But the other thing
But I think the ultimate payback would be that there's still people that have died because of this.
Oh no, I know,
no.
That's but I'm
gotten very injured.
But that's what I'm getting at though. There's no real difference. There's no real difference if it's immobilized versus him losing it physically. You'll have the same outcome.
So
yeah,
here's the thing.
I think there's a balance you can.
Right?
I think there's a balance you can strike. Sorry, what were we gonna say, Aniki? Go ahead.
What the fuck?
Damn, that nigga deep as fuck.
Whatever.
What's going on?
Yeah, that nigga.
Ian's big brother joined the cat. What the fuck?
I told you that nigga black. He let out his nigga side.
What'd I do?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm lost right now.
The point. So the thing about that though is that I don't think it's necessarily like better, right? Because the reality is that he still also could have done that with the arm. It's just that he had to figure it out because he lost it. So he still would have been more powerful if he could have done a left arm or a right arm, like with his arm plus black whip smash.
Of course.
So like, there's still going to be a trade-off.
Because he can also not using his quirk with the black whip arm, the other his other quirks.
And he's still also zero
Right, he'd be
punching
stuck,
now. Like
exactly.
he's not gonna be punching that arm ever again, regardless.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
not like he's gonna have the black whip on it probably all the time. So it's still, you'll still see, because the visual of it. The reason I definitely don't want it to physically be gone is because you need to see the scars from helping Todoroki. You need to see the scars from helping Koda. And we
Oh,
need to see the scars from helping. And then he needs to see the scars from his failure here. By the way, real quick before I jump back, I am pretty sure he also broke his leg in this, because when he kicks him, yeah, so he's not walking anywhere. He immediately says after this, looks like he's adapting to my 100% attacks and taking hits. His wounds are healing slower. The damage is sticking. So it can't be from earlier because he healed all those wounds. Therefore, he broke his leg. So Deku is useless after this. There's no way around it.
Well, I think that's what we need to see, right? Is we need that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that's what we need to see, right? Is we need to see that victory of Deku over Shigaraki, if only temporarily, to give them that last ounce of hope they need before Gigantomachia and everyone comes in and it's just complete and utter decimation, right? Because I think that's where this is leading at this point now, is I think we're getting this hero moment for Deku to show that, like, this is giving it everything that I've got. I can't use one of my legs after this. I can't use my arm after this. Machia and the other villains show up. The other heroes, right, Bakugo and Todoroki and Endeavor, they're all thinking like, okay, well, maybe we've got a shot now that Shigaraki is down. But then by that point, Gigantomachia sees Shigaraki on the ground. He's been bursting out because he can't control his quirk. All things go loose. They don't have the power to actually deal with it. And then they just get completely wiped. And it's a matter of, at that point, of escaping.
Yeah, well, here's the terrifying. At his final punch, you look at Shigaraki's back, and there's like barely any blood coming out of him. So I think this is going to be a situation where it's like, and that's literally it, Deku, and he's like, that's literally it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think they ended it on that punch to give you, the reader, a sense of, oh yeah, he got him.
Yeah,
so no,
and then it's going to be the classic villain thing of that didn't even do nothing.
Say touch on the topic.
I actually disagree that we need to have this hero moment. I think more than anything, we need to have the failure moment.
Yeah, which is what I think.
Exactly.
Well, that's what we're going to get regardless, right?
I say to that effect that
it turned out he did everything correct, and everything he did, he couldn't have done any better, and whatever he had done, it would have ended the same way. There wouldn't really be a failure based on his own fault. It would be more like, well, it was inevitable. But if he actually made a fault, if he actually made a mistake,
like he went over.
That does bring up an interesting question.
Oh shit! Hold on.
So real quick, because that does bring up a very interesting question here. Because even though we're talking about how technically Deku will be useless,
right?
Is anything he's doing right now actually wrong?
Yes.
No, I mean
actually.
What?
He's not having anyone help him.
I want to hear the yes. I want to hear the yes, please.
Yeah, because like it's just as what he just said. He's trying to do it all alone. Like until he hasn't learned anything.
The question here is now think about where it's coming from though.
No, I get where it's coming from.
No.
Almost everybody's injured.
The intention is there, but it's the self-awareness is not.
Bakugo is fine. Bakugo can help. Bakugo has taken 0 damage this entire fight.
Well said.
Yeah, Shoto too is fine.
Yeah,
Shoto just showed up. Right.
Shoto you get also Endeavor. He's not alone, but right now he's in the severed mentality that I have to take all on myself because I'm the one who have to sacrifice. It is something that I have to, so I understand why he's doing this. I do it all the time.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm the oldest son in my family, so as oldest son, I always think myself, okay, I have to do this. I have to show them. I have to protect them. I have to be the guide, So it's normal. It's normal that he's doing this. So right now, he's like in a narrow path. He's really in a narrow path. I just have to do this right now.
Right, and I want to answer the practical. Okay, am I good? Okay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to answer the practical side of this because there comes a time when you're writing your story where you have to balance the practicality of the situation with the themes. So if there is legitimately nothing that they can do, and it's like, oh, a moral failing, oh, he didn't want his friends to help, even though they'd be useless regardless. But that isn't the case because the way this is working is he's saying, I need to keep him in the air. Well, just continue to keep him in the air.
and you can form a new strategy. You don't have to go all out right now. If Shigaraki is on the downside, you
Right.
can, if you're using float, if you want to keep him there. So it isn't a matter of like, I think Horikoshi did a good enough job to insinuate that like, it's not like he actually has to pull him into the air and the first second he's there, bam, 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 bam. Because Shigaraki's not going to try to kill him until he gets his quirk. So just play
Right.
keep away while we
Yeah.
try to figure something out.
So
So-
When I
think
was,
that's
when
what
I was,
he's
when I was,
doing.
when I was,
Wait.
yeah. I'll let him go. I was trying to say something.
What I was gonna say to that though is,
Yeah.
yes, he just has to play keep away, but when you say it like that, you ignore Shigaraki's autonomy here.
Uh-huh.
Is Shigaraki just gonna let him play keep away, or is
No.
Shigaraki going to? Because like if he wasn't trying to go all out blitz Shigaraki right now, wouldn't Shigaraki just use an air cannon and jaw him?
But that
No.
that goes
That-
to what
that-
I was gonna say is that like I feel like Shigaraki, I don't necessarily think it's a failing from Deku's part when he knows that Shigaraki could take their quirks. Like I think Deku doing this and keeping him in the air and almost keeping him isolated is stopping him from taking Endeavor's quirk, from taking Bakugo's quirk, from taking
yeah.
Shoto's quirk,
Well,
which would obviously make for
now let
an
me-
even worse situation.
Which
Now
my
let me-
other
now-
problem
I
with that is
think,
this.
however,
Now let me go.
that-
Now let me go. What I was going to say on that one. I was like, there's two things I was going to say. For one, the reason, like, firstly, they all have ranged attacks. None of them actually have to. None of them actually have to get directly in front of Shigaraki to fight them. They all have ranged attacks. They're good there. And secondly, the reason I think that Deku is doing this is also because of All Might's own failings, which is one of the reasons I'm actually kind of I'm kind of backtracking and saying I'm actually kind of glad he's not dead yet, because he's going to have to see the fallout from his instilling all this responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like fucking like burden on this 16-year-old kid.
All Might's a Dumbledore.
So
Oh, for
like
sure,
you look
it
at
totally
it.
is.
So if you look at it, all of everything that's going to happen to Deku after this is all Might's fault. Everything that happens is his fault because
I mean, to be fair, everything that's
because-
happened in the story so far is All Might's fault. So it's
Yeah,
not really-
that's the big message, which is really
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah, but it's adding on further that you just told
Yeah,
this
definitely.
16-year-old kid that, by the way,
Yeah.
the only person you have to beat him, only you can beat him.
You
So
can't
now
tell anybody.
So now
Yeah, you
it's in
can't-
his face,
yeah.
and it's just instilled in his head that the only person who can fight him
Yeah.
is me. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
so much as like, oh yeah, they're gonna get hurt. No. It's because it's like he believes this is his mission, and
Yeah, of
only
course,
he can
of course.
accomplish it.
Yeah. of
So
course,
the
he
other
definitely
problem
has-
though is
But I-
that with how burnt out Endeavor is,
Mm.
because like the other issue with this is that yes, technically everybody can help him, but they aren't. Like Bakugo's trying to get back in the air, sure, but like Shoto, and the other thing is like they do still have to take care of the victims too, so they do need to split up the work. Bakugo should just take off and get in the air, but the other question is, can they go into the air and actually deal with the blowback from all these blows? Because you remember when like All Might and the Nomu were fighting, the wind was literally too much for them to even get close. Like Shigaraki couldn't even move.
Yeah.
He was like, Shigaraki was like, yeah, I'm gonna move in, take the kids out. I'm out here. And then it was
Well,
like, never mind, this is
but that's why-
literally too much.
That's why I
Yeah.
argue about the fact that they all have ranged attacks. None of them actually have to get close to him in the first place.
But I mean, if it's a wind current issue, because of the wind pressure, then the flames aren't gonna reach because they're gonna get dispersed by
Okay,
the wind.
so
Well, no,
Guys,
it's
I've
more like you
watched
just
Death
you consistently follow up. He
I have
does
one
his attack,
question.
and then he shoots, and like Bakugo shoots, and then Todoroki
So
shoots, and
if,
it's
B,
continues
so if
on.
BG and I have been arguing this whole time a yes, and you're saying it's actually more valuable that it's a no, what's the value of it being a no for the story? Could you go on into that detail? Because the only reason I'm on a yes answer is because I think that's good for Deku's character. So what value does the no answer of actually he is doing the right thing? Where do you see that going for his character of being good?
The issue with that is that regardless of not being good enough, is still a good enough motivation to figure out how to readjust, because that's the
For
same
sure.
lesson. Because that's the same lesson Endeavor ultimately had to learn, right? So Deku, because he internalized that mission, is low key still reflecting, is accidentally adopted some of Endeavor's ways,
Sure.
where he's like focused on his strength and like that obsession too. So the only way for him to actually get that message is to fully internalize why those are failings, which
Well,
he
and
still
I think-
hasn't, and he can't without doing something like this.
And
Yeah,
you bring up
so
a good
the-
point too, because that goes back to, I forgot who mentioned it earlier, but like, oh no, he needs to keep his arm because of the scars that remind him of things. I think the loss of his arm entirely would be enough of a reminder that I'm not even close to being ready yet. Like, I think that itself could work as his motivation to get further into the story. So I don't know. I don't
Sure,
know.
but
I mean,
if
I'm,
the
up in the air. I'm
thing-
either
the
way,
thing
but like, I
But
don't
if
know.
if we all agree that he's supposed to become a great hero who inspires others, and he's not going to be alone, then how does him just being like, oh, I should be stronger, and then he does that. How is that any different?
No.
I mean,
Let's say it's Trap.
But I think a lesson he definitely has to learn, which is a lesson that many people have already tried to teach him, but he hasn't quite internalized, is that self-sacrifice doesn't always get you to victory.
Yep.
He's somebody who always sacrifices himself and his health and everything to win, and so far it always worked. Yes, ultimately there were consequences, like he can't use his arm properly anymore, but ultimately after every fight he would still say it was worth it. There was never a point where he said it wasn't actually worth it. Right. This was a mistake, and he has to learn this lesson. He can't keep on going through his whole life with the first lesson that he was supposed to learn, which is you can't keep damaging yourself, and he still hasn't learned that.
I mean, he kind of already has.
He hasn't because
no. I'm saying there is.
If you could fight against a muscular again to save Kota, and again make the decision to sacrifice your arm, he would do it again because he doesn't regret it.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's an instance that there's an instance of that particular moment where he kind of does regret doing that, because of that, as he said, that he wouldn't have broken his arms. He would have been able to save Bakugo. The issue here is that he believed that was because he wasn't strong enough. So I feel like that honestly, he has to learn that it's not about strength. It's about the self-sacrifice in general is the issue. And that's why I'm on that same wave as Ian right now.
Another thing I want to say about what mistake he did so far with yes, the way it is now, Shigaraki is in a bad position to steal, for example, Endeavor's quirk or Bakugo's quirk or whatever. But I think if you asked anybody on the scene, aside from maybe Deku himself, so if you asked Bakugo, if you asked All Might, if you asked Gran Torino, if the other characters, they don't quite know about Deku's quirk, but if they knew it, if you then asked them, they would all say the one quirk he cannot steal, no matter what, is Deku's quirk. And Deku's quirk is the only one he still is in a good position to steal.
Right.
One of the things that I'm still questioning, though, is because when you think back to the movie with 9, he was like, oh, I can't take it, it's too much. But one of the things that makes me feel like One for All can't be stolen has nothing to do with like power level or anything like that. It's specifically because being given away is a part of its power.
Yeah, that's what All Might said.
I was gonna say, actually, the 9 one is different though.
Like he said he didn't have storage, right? Like, but we don't.
Yeah.
Like that could be his interpretation of what like happened versus like, because also One for All has a will of its own. So like you have a sentient quirk that has like exchange as part of its condition. So there's already a bunch of stuff that makes like One for All being stealable questionable.
Yeah,
well, I mean, with 9 though, the problem with 9.
I don't think Gran Torino or All Might or even Deku, if you'd ask them, were willing to risk that. But also, even if it wasn't stolen, Deku also can't die without giving his quirk away. That would be the same disaster.
Well, I was gonna go with the 9 point. The thing about 9 is that he can only hold 9 quirks, and then he explicitly states that he had 6 other quirks. That's why he couldn't hold it. That actually is probably.
And he's like a prototype for Shigaraki.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that but 9 is depending on how you interpret One for All, you could still say that that's still one package, though.
Yep, it's one package. One package.
I mean, it is one package, but I mean, keep in mind this is also written by Yosuke Kuroda, so I mean, probably just a misunderstanding. Yeah,
that's why we don't know for sure what. That's why I don't like just giving.
Is the movie full canon?
No, it's not.
It's confusing.
It's canon light.
It's canon. It's canon light. Yeah, it's canon light.
So like on the One Piece movies, we have there's things in the One Piece films, like Guild Tesoro being part of Dofu's Underground, or like
Laugh Tale,
that kind of stuff. There's things in the films that are actually canon, but it's not the film itself that's
Take it with a grain of salt.
That's exactly.
Don't take it to heart.
Yeah. Because also, hold on, real quick. I want to shout out JJ Candelabra in my chat, because I was in the chat earlier when you guys first started talking, because I just finished my reaction on Twitch, and I was logged into my second account. Like Roger's Backup is the second channel where I upload all the My Hero reactions, and I'm in the chat, and people were like, "That's the fake Roger. It's not actually Roger." I'm like, "No, that's my second account, even though it's not the Chatmark account." That is my account.
You can tell by the Mario hat.
Exactly. I'm like, I logged into the main account so that everyone could calm down in the chat. But rest assured, Roger's Backup is also my account. That's just where I happened to be live because I was uploading my reaction
Right,
to
right.
284 as I was entering the thing, so we're all good.
Oh yeah.
He's Roger D. Luigi, but he's wearing a Mario hat.
Right, that's exactly. People to this day
It's
still think that it's not actually my name. People are like, "Oh, no, it's just your name for YouTube," because like Roger and the Will of D, and like I'm like, no, that's my birth name. I will show you my driver's license. It is Roger D. Luigi. That is my name. I was just born to do Nintendo
That's
One Piece and
awesome.
animation.
No.
Okay. Also, Roger, like my middle name starts with D too, so like I have that same
We got
thing
the
as you,
Willie
where I'm
D.
like,
Let's
yeah,
go.
I'm like,
We got
yeah,
the Willie
D.
D.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny.
No, but I'm glad then that we all
Speaking
have.
of,
Go
yeah.
on, East. Go on, East.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm glad that we have both sides here because I'm thinking like either way could definitely work. So because I think we all agree where it's heading for Deku's character, that it's going to create extreme growth.
Sure.
It's going to
Yeah.
it's definitely just going to change a lot of his perspective, and that's what I want. That's the thing I want out of it. So as long as that happens, because my main thing with Deku, this is one of the coolest things Horikoshi ever did, and it was one of the scariest things. But now I'm good now. Is that Horikoshi was like, all right, Deku, we're gonna, you're the main character, duh. So you get like 200 plus chapters of being the focus, and then literally after that, from NBA to now, he's been like sidelined, like super hard. Like he's like, it feels like Endeavor and Shigaraki got more relevant. Like they did. It doesn't even feel like it. They got more relevance and more plot focus.
I would say since Pro Hero, honestly.
Yeah,
Joint training is like half.
Culture
Deku.
festival,
everyone really
then
focusing on joint training.
Yeah, but my
definitely took a backseat.
right, but so then my thing is, one of the things that kind of not bothered me, but I was just like concerned, is like, since then, when we do cut to Deku, if he's now a side character, for these portions, his whole character is just, I have to get stronger. And that's missing all of the things that make Deku so interesting, with how he views self-sacrifice, his heroism, how he relates to Bakugo. All those things have kind of mellowed out. And so I'm glad that we have this here, and we're being reminded what Deku's character is about. It's why last chapter I kind of tweeted about how like,
I'm really not okay with what you're saying right now, because because Deku was still Deku. He knew that he had to get more powerful, because he has like all these pressure of being the future number one.
No, I agree, but I don't want it to. It seemed like it was just that, and that was going to be his character from here on. Is like, all right, I've solved all my other things. Now it's just get stronger.
Okay,
okay.
No, that's a fair assertion, because of the fact that we don't get to deep dive into Deku's psyche anymore, because he hasn't been around.
We haven't for a long time. So what I'm saying is, I'm not worried anymore because of this chapter, because it's literally saying, no, Ian, we remember everything that makes Deku Deku, and we're gonna explore that. It's just, for a little bit there, he was just, I need to get stronger. And so that's why when you guys said to the no, like he's not doing anything, it was like, oh, please no, because I don't want it to just be that his lesson is, oh, I gotta get stronger, because that's the most boring thing you could do for Deku's character if it's just that.
Yeah, no. What I was saying was like,
but
this is the perfect way to get that lesson.
But Yo, Strix, thank you for coming. But like I said, Deku, sorry, I was shut out a friend of mine. But Deku has to do what he wants to do. He had to become stronger, because when you're too weak, you can't save nobody. So
while that's true, he can still get stronger. It's just that should not be the main focus of his character right now, because there's far more important things of his flaws to work focus on.
Yeah, and so I'm saying is, now I'm content, because I understand that Horikoshi hasn't forgotten. He's moving in that direction. So I'm just saying, hey, this chapter's great, and I love the Deku focus. I really don't know. You guys all know I have a super connection to Deku. So whenever he said, like, it just had that shot of his like mouth, and Bakugo's like, you shouldn't be up there. Who's gonna, you should be the first away. And he's like, well, then who's gonna do it? I'm like, oh, my heart. Who's gonna save Eri? Who's gonna save Koda? Who's gonna save Todoroki? That's Deku. That's my boy. Oh. And he's gonna.
That's kind of how I feel every time I get a Bakugo scene.
There is one fear that I've had.
Everybody can fly. Basically, everybody can keep him off the ground.
I mean, time out with that one.
Yeah,
So,
technically.
I was going to say something about the future real quick. That makes me happy about this too. With all of his injuries and all of these fucking backlash he's going to have, one of my biggest fears about us doing time skips and shit. And who's echoing?
You?
No, it's not me.
You. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I can hear myself to somebody else.
Oh,
Yeah,
you okay there, BG?
yeah, I can hear myself to somebody else. But anyway, I was saying, damn it, whatever. I was saying that like in the future, I've always been scared about people talking about a time skip because I'm thinking I've got worried about how quickly we're going to skip time. We're going to see Deku grow far too much, and if he doesn't grow too much, it won't make any sense why he wouldn't have grown since look where he's at in 3 months. But now with all this going on, all these repercussions he's going to have, I can see there being a lot of stagnated growth. So so that actually makes me feel very I'm very content with them doing time skips now.
I want to touch on something that you just brought up, though, BG, real quick while I'm thinking of it. Hold on, real quick. I just want to bring this up. You had mentioned that you're going to have this like extreme growth for Deku. Like if it ends up happening where Deku, for example, loses in this fight, we get a time skip, we immediately jump into whatever the next portion of the story is going to be. And then what ends up happening is we've got Deku, who already has learned and mastered so many different abilities over the course of this time skip. And as the reader, as he's using these abilities against other people, we're going to end up discovering his training of those abilities in flashbacks. Like, I think that would be kind of interesting.
Kind of like this. Kind of like
I
this.
would like that. I wouldn't like that. That's the reason I don't want a time skip in general.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that I actually want to see the awakenings, like this, for example. I want to see them as they happen because it won't be as impactful if I see.
I think there's a middle ground.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to.
That's why I think that.
Wait. There's too people who try to talk in.
The echo is also truly messing me up. Whoever that is, you got to mute, please.
I think it's Ian because he sometimes keeps popping up.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, I knew it wasn't me.
It wasn't me because nobody's next to me, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm empty. I'm in my studio, so.
He muted himself. Yeah, it was Ian.
Cool.
But thanks.
Anyway, I was saying that's my thing. It's like I don't want extreme growth in terms of skill. I want extreme growth in terms of character because in terms of skill, we're going to be skipping a lot of the things that I like about this series when it comes to at least when it comes to scaling, because I get to see steady growth. I don't get
okay, man.
There's something that I want to say about like
Go ahead.
One. We do need like some time skipping just because it won't make sense if they can just like sit around and like have a normal life.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And
no, for sure.
And for like the sake of Deku's consistency, he does like need to master one of these or like pick one of these up off screen just because that's who he is. Like it wouldn't make sense for him to just like not do it for like 6 months.
Right.
But I get what you're like. I don't want all of his awakenings to be through time skips though.
No,
but at least he does have to have at least one.
Completely.
Yes,
at least one. I agree. You need to see all of them. I think the one big thing for me is that I don't need to see all of them, but I think if you have 1 or 2 of them that are off screen via the time skip, and that literally the story arc that we would normally see in real time is done via flashback. I think there's a way in which Horikoshi could do that to make us at least feel like we're getting steady growth, as opposed to just being like, okay, here, we're throwing it at you right now.
I'll go for people that's you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I think that if we get a time skip, which I think we would probably get, and after this, if Deku fails here, I think that would be a good time for a time skip because time skips always come after failures.
Of course.
And of course, if there is a time skip, depending on how long it will be, there will have to be growth, and he has to be stronger after that. My problem is that while it would be exciting to see how strong he got, I kind of hate this after time skip for how long. It's what kind of One Piece keeps doing, that even 300 chapters, Deku, Luffy kind of pulls powers out of his head 300 chapters after time skip, and that kind of has this asshole attribute to it, which I don't want to do. So if he wants to do it, we have to make it that way that either we know the quirks before the time skip, or we get to find out right after.
Like how Float showed up and we knew it was coming, right?
If I understand what you mean, you're talking about you don't want to see like him pulling out Gear 4th, even though he already knew about.
Yeah,
Gear 4th,
I don't want him to pull out Snake Man in.
Sure, and I get that completely too, because I think that's a huge criticism that people have with One Piece currently.
Yes.
So I think it's completely reasonable. I don't really think it needs to be something where it's like he pulls it out of nowhere. Like you can get teases of it, or they could mention something offhand. Like how crazy you get the time skip, right? They're into their first arc, and he mentions, I don't know, I'm like literally pulling this out of my head, like a milk power. He has the power to control milk or something. I don't know, right? And then like offhand, like, oh, wait until you see like the milk drink attack or something, and you're like, what the hell's milk drink attack? Like, what are you talking about? And then in the middle of the fight, you then boom cut into this flashback of him like mastering this former Quirk user's massive milk power or something.
Yeah,
and
it's
like this
actually-
and then you get into it. I don't know why milk was the first thing that popped in my head. And I thought of milk, but like,
Okay, real
No,
quick.
actually-
you know what I
There's
mean
something.
by
Wait,
that, right?
There's something that I wanted to touch on before we got into this conversation, and
Yeah.
it's actually kind of important because we were talking about
Okay, let's
characters so
hear it.
much.
Yeah.
So one of the things that had been happening throughout this arc was specifically we kept getting an emphasis on winning with Deku. Like everybody's like, yeah, like we're talking about how power hungry he is. Yes, winning and saving are both important here. So you have Bakugo literally sitting here. This chapter is all about saving, though.
Yeah.
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 Look at Bakugo, and he's like his questions towards All Might are defensive of Deku. So, which is also a thing that we need to like kind of take a moment to take a step back from and realize that Bakugo is losing trust in All Might.
Yes.
As one of
Yeah.
the biggest believers, person who has been so heavily defined by All Might, Bakugo has started to lose his faith. That's extremely important because that part of like what has made Bakugo so toxic is chasing All Might. And so by him losing his faith in All Might, he's going to become like a more structured around protection hero. Like he was sitting here like Deku, no, like that whole like the whole monologue about you can't do this was all Bakugo yelling for him.
Yeah.
And so like Deku's, but like even like what like it looks like on the surface it's like Deku's trying to fight, but like no, he's trash talking because like that's like the thing that he gets from Bakugo, but his entire emphasis is still on saving here now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like he wants to hurt him, but he's just like I have to save. I have to save to win. And if I do this really fast, maybe if I like hit him hard enough, I'll win, and then that'll save everyone.
By the way,
Like,
by
it's
the way,
not-
look
Yeah,
at it.
but I mean, but let's go back to what he said before when he's fighting Bakugo. When he starts getting into a point where he starts caring more about winning than saving, and I feel he's in that one as well. He's in that mode right now. Like I don't think.
No,
I think.
actually,
But that doesn't mean he forgets to
The thing
save.
is-
Obviously,
No.
When-
Yeah, obviously he doesn't forget to save, but I feel like his priority right now is not necessarily to save. It's to
It's
beat
to win to
Shigaraki.
save.
no, I think it is. I think it's the safe because we have seen multiple of these thoughts like he can't let him under to the ground because then they will be he will again destroy the city and there will be so many
I don't think
injured.
it's really.
And the first
they're
thing
not
he did
mutually
was he
exclusive,
also
though.
pulled
No, they're
everybody
not.
else
They're-
No.
in the air when
Oh yeah,
he-
no. Oh no. It's more about the fact that his emphasis is not. It's not so much to just knock him away and get everyone to safety. His emphasis is to beat him right here and now. Like it's
Right,
because the logical thing to do would be to escape Shigaraki. The logical thing to do would have been when he punched the fuck out of
You
him
gotta
at the
think,
start.
like-
It would have been to escape.
He's
But
just gonna
his
catch
whole
you.
goal was. Yeah, I mean, what is it? I understand. I understand that. The whole thing is though, like I guess at the end of the day, he knows it's not going to happen. He doesn't know that, but but that's the thing. That's the point though. He doesn't
I
know
have to-
this.
Well, no, because if you remember, Deku was like, if Shigaraki, let me know if Shigaraki changes directions, because if he does, that means he has a way to track me. So
Yeah.
once he did that, and Endeavor directly states he is chasing Midoriya, so they all know now that Shigaraki can chase him. So just trying to escape while he's conscious isn't really considered a viable strategy.
And by the way, BG, to go to the point you're talking about, how like when he brings up the idea that he switches into like Bakugo mode, he calls back to when he was fighting Muscular, and he starts being like, "Shut up, I'm gonna win." But obviously, the whole time he was still trying to protect Koda. So it's like Roger is saying, and I think you understand this too. It's just a mix of the two, and you're just pointing out that he seems to be embodying the win mentality in this moment to save. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
what
Also-
I remember
also,
back
when
when,
he
Deku and Bakugo fought, All Might was saying that Bakugo always wants to win, and Deku always wants to save people, and they have to do both.
And
Right,
by
but
the
it's
way,
it's
and
the
by the
melding
way,
of the
look
minds.
at.
I mean, that's like every time we see one of these chapters, right, where it's like seeing more growth between that relationship with Bakugo and Deku, and like what Bakugo truly wants for Deku. I think that is ultimately where the story is leading, right? I mean, I know we were just talking about the movies with like 9 or whatever, but wasn't that true that Horikoshi was like, "Oh yeah, that was one of my initial endings for the series"?
But
Yeah.
I mean, I
Bakugo
feel like that
Quirk,
was.
and
I feel like
like
the one for all Bakugo. Yeah, that was probably.
Yeah. So it does seem like the kind of thing to me where, this will eventually culminate in the two of them working together. Like they are going to work together. They're not just going to be individuals forever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like, I think Deku can have all of his quirks. He can grow.
Hanzu?
That's Ponzu.
Oh,
Already handled
I was
that.
There we
like,
go.
It was French.
Okay.
I have no idea.
No,
I was
Roger.
like,
I was
everyone's
saying,
talking, or what's going on? Yeah.
yeah, no, Roger. I was saying that like, no, I actually don't. I'm actually starting to think less of the idea of him being just him and Bakugo in the end fighting him. I don't think it's him, because as he said before, his whole goal is to make it bigger than even
Right.
bigger than what his original idea was.
Right.
So I think that means it's probably it's gonna be like the whole group
Everybody.
fighting him. Yeah.
I think I would like it if by the end of this fight, Deku and Bakugo are somewhere else entirely in Show, and it's like the end of this generation. And
Yeah. And I wanted to bring up that when he kicks, I think it's on page whatever, it's the page where he kicks him. Just literally look at Deku's eyes. That is legitimately Bakugo's eyes whenever he gets angry, like exactly. Like it's this. So
It is.
Yeah, like it's exactly his eyes when he gets angry.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool. And not to mention, by the way, this is how powerful my remembering every panel in MHA quirk is. Whenever Deku throws the whip again to grab Shigaraki, I was like, wait a second, didn't Aizawa get like an exact same panel? And I went back to the overhaul arc, and whenever he gets saved by Fat Gum, it's literally like the same leg out, the same arm, the same whip being thrown. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, I did think
Sorry,
it was
guys.
cool. I know we talked about it a little bit, but like I did think it was really cool seeing that scene with Ochako and Froppy and Zero and like him training with all of it, him sort of like preemptively knowing, well, you're going to get flowed eventually because you know this quirk, so let's just start training it now. And then seeing Zero in all of these previous story arcs whipping around his cellophane like Spider-Man whips, like it's cool to be like, yeah, of course that'd be the person you would train with. Why not? Like,
Also,
Yes.
Roger has inspired an interesting conversation in the chat that I want to bring up real quick. How would you guys feel about like us straight up getting a legitimately garbage quirk for Deku, or like a mediocre,
like a milk quirk or something? Like
I
like
would love
like
that. I would love that.
Speaking of the milk example,
right.
Like,
I would love that because All Might has like said from the start that it's probably not going to be great quirks because they were all losers that just got the quirk last minute before they died, and then they had to give it away again. And so I would love it if just half of these quirks are just useless. Well, not half, but like one or two.
No, but what's the thing about these quirks, that they're like quirks that would be like strengthened by the stockpiling effect of one for all, So like the power of Daigoro, he was just using like his power like Spider-Man's web, but he didn't have the strength that of the Spider-Man's web. He was just like moving around midair, capturing people. But right now with the stockpiling effect, it became so powerful that Deku could literally cut off somebody's head with it if he wants to, with 100%,
Sure.
So that's but yeah, and the powers, I made a theory about what the quirks will be inspired, and on the first chapter, one of the panels, you get like a panel with different kind of superheroes and you get seven of them, and I think that every one for all user might be based on one 8 of 7 8 no, 7
6 quirks.
Yeah, 6 quirks, but you get seven of them. But you get one who represent All Might. So you get one who represent All Might, and it is Kamen Rider, because All Might has his antennas and the colors and everything. If you read my theory, you will see I made a whole research about it. And yeah, and one of the quirks, like you get Spider-Man on it, and Daigoro's quirk is Black Whip based on Venomized Spider-Man. You get Shimura Nana based on Superman. Flying quirk with superpower, like super strength. And you get also All Might. I told you, All Might, he has like the deception thing, like
All Might is quirkless, or was quirkless.
Yes, but he got a quirk who made him transform in a super tall man. And Kamen Rider is about Japanese people who you don't think that they're strong people, but they get strong after a transformation. Kenshin. If you know about the whole thing about the Kamen Riders, they transform and everything.
And there's the Wolverine guy, right?
Yeah, the Wolverine guy. The Wolverine guy, yeah. If you read it, Jan, you get like one of the user before Nana. I think he's the fifth. He had like some in his right arm. He had like some kind of claw like Wolverine.
See,
So
if he was going to take some type of Wolverine related quirk, not to like completely relate to things that are in Marvel, I actually think it would be much more interesting for him to have like the adamantium bones. I think like the idea of having an indestructible core, like an indestructible body, would be something that would really help Deku.
That would actually be a useful quirk.
And not only would it be useful, but I think it would be something that, like, if it's one of the last ones unlocked, that would realistically be like one of the final powers to realize, okay, this guy is going to be the strongest hero that ever lived. If you have some type of quirk that stops, or like a regenerative type of quirk, like a healing quirk without necessarily needing the help of like Aerie or Recovery Girl or something.
Yeah, I think what would be best for him to make the best combination would be to have like semi-powerful quirks that are very diverse in sense of now he has like this capture weapon quirk more or less. Then he now gets an armor type quirk, then he gets maybe a range type quirk, then maybe gets a sneak attack type quirk, then maybe an analysis quirk, and so on. But it would be very like almost too good to be true for a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, by the end of the story, though, it has to be that, right? I mean, this is at the end of the day, we are still in a shonen. Like, there has to be something at the ending where it is too good to be true. Real quick, I gotta bounce out. I gotta go do a YouTube meeting. Literally right now with my YouTube manager. So I'm just gonna throw this out. One last thing is on the topic of what Aniki was talking about with like these quirks not necessarily needing to be super strong. I think that's something that I actually really like about One Piece is that the fact that like some of the characters that have like, I almost said quirks, but devil fruits that are super weak. Like look at Doflamingo, for example, like the idea of spring fruit. You're like, what are you going to do with that? It's all about the creativity of utilizing that quirk to the best of its ability, right? And where Doflamingo is able to like puppeteer people and create these strings that like emerge out of the ground and pick up different things from the air. I mean, there's so many different things that come from that quirk that I feel like, I keep saying quirk, but you know what I mean? I feel like when, or if Deku ends up unlocking one that is sort of like a mid-tier or something that sounds kind of stupid, I would love to see Deku infusing his own creativity and showing like what he's learned from the other students to make that quirk into something it never could have been in its own time. Like utilizing and going back to what we were talking about earlier, right, is like knowing that he can't be alone, like utilizing the powers and seeing what his friends have pulled off and sort of embracing that and turning that into his own thing, I think would be a fascinating thing to watch.
That was really beautiful. But about the Wolverine thing, I had the last thing to say. The guy, the fifth user, when we saw him back in the chapters, he lost the same arm that he was shown before. So the right arm is the one also that Deku like his arm is the fucked up arm is the same arm literally. I posted my theory thread on the chat. You can read it if you want to later. But for you sayers too, and it is the same arm that exploded. So I think that the bone claw thing will be related to the right arm. It might be just, so yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta bounce, you guys. I gotta check that out later.
All right. Damn. All right, Roger. You keep it easy.
I'll be back. Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.
Yes. Well, sad thing. The same thing that Roger left because I was just about to go. Well, I'm about to drop this. Since I'll keep hearing about these worries and I don't mean to sound like an asshole when I say it. So let me clarify it prior to. I understand the concerns people have about time skips because the repetitiveness you keep seeing in your daily shonen, your average shonen, where the time skip happens, and then you have the repeated things once again. But if we're all here for this, a couple of the same reasons. The main one being Horikoshi subverts all the tropes and he does better than what his predecessors had. He is a super mega fan of the same series we were, the same series that got us into manga and such, so on and so forth. He may be a fanboy, but aren't you fans of Naruto? You were fans of Naruto Part 1, One Piece. You're still reading stuff, right? I'm pretty sure he also realizes there's flaws and stuff that you can also always do better.
Yeah.
The old heads are stuck in the old head ways, and the new heads are coming in this. So what I want to touch on is the time skip prior to this. Like I said, I would be optimistic. I understand if you have your concerns or whatever, but play this from the middle ground to the optimism perspective. Is like that's why I let everybody go first. When you guys are talking about, well, I don't want to just be, we go here and now he's all powerful. He has all the quirks, masters, and other. Even when we go to the future, he could like the main ones we need to see that we don't know that will be a really major thing if they ended up working later on would be the two that we don't know. that he knows the other quirks, and the fourth one is a plot point. But the other ones, he could easily be training those on the side. He got announce them first and be training them. He didn't have float prior to this, but he was training Ochiko as to how can I balance and be ready for when it does happen. So when shit pops out the blue, I'm not like all confused what to do. Like right now, he trained for prior with Ochiko and Sero, so now he has the skills to pay the bills in a sense and handle his quirk better prior to. So I'm not saying we jump. He has all the quirks mastered. He probably never gonna have 100% because when y'all say we time skip and he has all the quirks mastered, y'all making it seem like we just jumped Deku's are 100% and when we come back there straight. This is just straight war because I'm pretty sure there'll be some type of format and layup and setup to this. So I will play from the middle ground than to just either further extreme.
No, of course I understand that, and I think that of course Horikoshi probably knows the dangers in having a time skip, of course. And I actually think my problem is a little bit like the comparison to One Piece, as I've mentioned before. But I do think that you can absolutely do this right. For example, I think you can say about Naruto whatever you want. I think that the time skip was actually handled very well in Naruto. That you get the time skip, and after that you have like the main three characters, Sakura, Naruto, and Kakashi, fighting villains that are stronger than what they fought before, and also showcasing where they're at. And after that, there was no other power pulled out of their head, more or less, from the first arc after the time skip. We immediately learned these are the new powers they have. This is Kamui. This is like this great new Rasengan. There we have Kyuubi cloak, and Sakura is super strong, and that's what we learned in the first arc, and we stuck with that then through the rest. And after that, okay, the power scaling got a bit whack, but that worked. The problem here is that I kind of imagine we now get a time skip and then Deku comes more powerful out of this time skip. We already fight Shigaraki. Like we're already at like the top echelon of villains to fight. Who are we going to fight after time skip that we can show immediately these are the new powers that they have, unless they fight Shigaraki and Gigantomachia right after the time skip again, which would be a bit repetitive, I guess.
No, I think what that comes down to is I think we're going to have like an increase. One, there's going to be an increase in no moves. Two, we always have that. Are they going to go a broad discussion? Are they going to be like, how are they going to plan this out, right? So let's say we get International Hero Academia, as Strix just called it. Then you can have them kind of open up and like deal with strong villains in other places before we get back to Shigaraki, or you just over time, because you got Overhaul was a high tier threat, right? Like a lot of people will kind of but he did take 100% to beat. So it's not like there aren't other niggas out here that can be a threat, and especially when you factor in that once all this shit is like destroyed, a lot of people are going to be training with their quirks more regardless.
Yeah, no, of
course. Like there's like random, there's like, thanks to that aspect, we'll have people they can fight. Just because like, and MLA was like, what do we call it? Like, what was it? 116,800 strong, something like that. So, and they had a couple generals. I imagine that they'll build up their forces and we'll kind of get the same thing that All Might did, where he had to like run through different organizations and take down multiple allies and all kind of stuff before he finally got to like come to a head with Shigaraki. So I think that's how it's kind of going to be. Like,
and then you still got the crowning moment of him actually taking over. What I want to see is the underworld. There has not been like a specific layout of what the villain underworld has actually looked like. Well, I'm not saying it's like a place where everybody's meeting up, like when they got announced as the successor and all that. I'm talking about there's got to be like a network, because even Overhaul talked about there are gangs and networks and organizations cooperate. Like they're like, I'm pretty sure there are big baddies still out there. Like, because I'm pretty sure the time skip. I don't think he's going to even have 100% locked down. I mean, I pretty much see it as like more towards 75, 80, depending on how big the skip is.
No, of course. My issue is just that I want, if probably will be, when there is a time skip, after the time skip, when he gets stronger, I want him to preferably have, right in the first arc, a villain that is strong enough that we can already show this is where Deku's at, these are the limits. I don't want this to take until we meet Shigaraki for the next time, which may be forever. And at this point, it's just that at this point, Nomus aren't that big of a threat anymore. Yeah, they are still difficult to beat, but in this arc, we had like 20 Nomus, and they weren't that big of a threat.
I mean, that was because of erasure, though.
Yeah, yes. Of course, but still, I mean, if we come out of the time skip and we're still struggling with the Nomu, that would be a bit weird.
Well,
No, the combat that because actually they would have time to perfect the normal. Remember, Ujiko kept
Yeah,
saying
of
these
course,
things,
they get stronger.
these things weren't,
Yeah.
these things weren't even in their testing stage. They just came out like unready.
Really
So imagine what,
highlighted.
so like if he had time to actually come back and like, okay, I got these corpses and they have field tests.
And Endeavor and Hawks together were needed to fight a high end. So even if they're over them, like if the new standard is the heroes get to 1v1 a high end to a high div fight, that's still improvement, but it also makes it so that we're not completely blowing away the last generations to such a degree that it's like, well, what was the point of any like?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, so you don't want
like
to devalue those people's struggles. So by making sure that like like Shoto, Bakugo, and them being like 1v1ing Nomus in the end is like, or high ends is like where I think it'll go.
Yeah, and like the one of the big points of the Mirko fight that I really liked is that it actually is supposed to build up the high ends because she was able to take one down at against 4 at the cost of her arm and like half her leg, and then after that she couldn't even hit any of them ever again. And it was like I've literally been fighting them for like 5 minutes and they're already this strong. I'm done for. So to me, the point of but the great thing about the Nomu and the great thing about Shigaraki that we've seen this whole fight is like they still like force still works against them. So like if you just like punch Shigaraki, he still has to move across the room, which is why whenever Eraser erased their quirks, you could have someone like Crust who can just like hit him with a shield and he still has to flinch, you know, he still has to move his body. So I think that the kind of the idea is that when we do face him again, they won't really need to be nerfed because they were supposed like the reason they were so strong in the first place is, you know, or the reason they were weaker in the first place is because of extenuating circumstances from the heroes getting the upper hand.
Yes, that's the element of surprise. They had the element of surprise because if they didn't have the element of surprise, you would have the level of the high normal of that Endeavor thought, and that is problematic.
Actually, it would be even stronger technically because that was just a testing phase too. Like Ujiko said, like if Dobby would have brought back the other one, then we wouldn't even be in this predicament as is. It's like if only Dobby can't say knowing Dobby had brought back the other one, Hood-chan, I would have been able to do this. I would have been able to do that. So it's like shit. I mean, Hood had the perfect test run, but he failed too. So like I'm saying, like and anything they wouldn't be nerfed. It actually is working in reverse because they've been nerfed this entire time. Besides Hood, they've all been nerfed basically,
and yet they still put up a really big fight. So
even with some of them having their quirks erased too.
I mean, even nerfed, they were still like top tier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually working backwards in reverse, honestly, than the nerf tech. So like it's actually adding to that this happened prior to before. So when it comes back, that's why I'm not worried about the future as far as like people getting to show off because you have all the heavy hitters who can easily go against the high end. There's fucking plenty of them to throw out. Horikoshi got designs out the wazoo. He has plenty of those to throw out. You got lieutenants and commanders in the fucking PLF who were fighters and hitters and all this type of shit. And then you just got average Joes and then you still got Maki to do it. So there's plenty of room for people like to do. So I'm not worried about like him scaling because it's plenty of motherfuckers just to throw in the play. Like he could throw in some random baddie and like you said he throws some random baddie first arc. And that dude could be strong, and you can easily hype up somebody. You can show them doing destructive feats. Like if you just seen Hood wrecking everything, you be like, that motherfucker powerful easily because you can see him swinging his arm, destroying buildings in split seconds. So you come back and you have Deku show up, 75% mastery, and he beating this motherfucker ass. Like, okay, Deku really learned some shit. He's been growing this entire time. So it's like, it's what he set himself up and with ample amount of room to do what he needs to do to work through all this.
We're talking about what exactly the topic here? How we going?
Because we talking about the time skip, and Sayas brought up a good point about how Naruto, when they did the time skip, that you can see the big three and not the big three, like
no, because you ended up seeing Sasuke too. Like Sayas' point was actually really good because they cut away.
That's what I'm saying. They were showcasing all the stuff they learned in that first arc, like how much stronger they had gotten since that point in time. So she was like, how do we showcase Deku going on now, and then like against Shigaraki, then we show him against somebody else. But Aniki brought up the point that anywhere they go, it's like it's plenty of people, like stronger people. Like Overhaul was a top tier villain and stuff like that. Deku had these ones 100%.
I'm not gonna lie. Due to the nature of how most showcase arcs are, they're always they always have to put the main characters in a positive light, which is that they have to like wreck whoever the fuck they're fighting. whatever that may be. Like in Naruto's case, it was when they actually like took the bells from Kakashi.
Yeah.
But or in One Piece, it's Fishman
all
Island.
of Fishman Island.
And that's fine. And that's fine.
Yeah.
The main villain could have
depending
been
how you
beaten
do
by
it.
literally anybody on the team before steroids.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it has to like not has to, but in most cases, unless it wants to be different, they all have them like just wreck who the fuck they're fighting.
Yeah,
Right,
so,
and so-
you got a good point.
Okay, guys, I have a question.
Okay. What's up, Anzu?
So do you think that I forgot his name. Deku will kill people in the time skip?
No.
I feel like Deku needs a depression arc. I feel like Deku needs a depression arc, not a murderous rage arc.
Yeah. Only Shigaraki, and that's because they have no choice.
Oh no.
Realistically,
hold on. I'm pro murderous rage arc Deku.
Me too. Really.
I mean, if he did it, I wouldn't mind. But I'm just like him going that far.
So
I can see him beating somebody near death, honestly, because like him not being able to control himself and his frustration. I can see him beating somebody near death.
Right.
Batman
Some
style.
Bruce
Batman
Wayne,
style.
Batman shit.
So like that's the thing though, right? Is that you can be just because you're on a murderous rage doesn't mean you're actually racking up the bodies necessarily if you're fighting people strong enough to not die after you shit stomp them. And that's kind of like the position that I think like Deku's gonna end up being in. And if I'm being honest, I kind of want that because I think that it'll finally encapsulate how Bakugo and Deku have influenced each other. Because having Deku finally hit this point where he's like literally trying to pull up and just violently beat the shit out of people, and Bakugo having to be the one that's like, look, man, I get it. I know how you feel. I've always been like really aggressive. Let me pull you back. Let me get you back here. You need to realize that you grew up like loving All Might, and maybe he wouldn't even bring up All Might anymore because, like I said, he's losing his faith. But the idea that like Bakugo, the one who's been considered the most violent throughout the series, even though like even in this chapter it was kind of highlighted where they're like, oh, Bakugo, you're still a jerk because he was blowing up Deku, and then Bakugo's like, Deku's the one who said he wanted it to be a fight. What are you talking about? And so like there's been this disconnect for a while anyway between like how Bakugo is actually behaving. So like that'll be like the thing that like kind of cements it, where it's like, nah, you gotta accept the fact that like Bakugo cares about Deku, is reaching out, trying to help him out. And so that'll like be the growth, and that'll probably be when he gets his apology in too, finally. Like, he finally gets to properly talk to him. Like they talk about in this chapter, you guys will finally get a proper conversation. And that's
not only this, man, because we get also the fact that Bakugo said always, die. It is something that he always says, and you will have a flip on it because, like you said, Deku will be like beating people up, Batman-like, of a Batman manner. But in my eyes, when I was talking about murder, because it will also bring the situation about the war, because they will be chased for their life. People will try to kill them because, not Deku, but his friends will be chased to every. From what I'm seeing, the villains will be winning, and the heroes will be chased to death. If you let in a war, if you let your enemy alive just because you're on a mobile campus, you're like increasing the chance to having more enemy chasing you too, So even you can swipe people. It stays on a Neketsu shonen, but in my eyes, Deku will fall into darkness because like I said, All For One, One For All has a time was part of the darkness too. That's why we see the second and the third like obscured in my eyes. That's why because the second and third user were like darkened because they did stuff that were not in the All Might in the superhuman the hero way, because they had to survive in the dark periods of where All For One was the boss. There had to be villains to survive. This is what I'm thinking.
I think we talked about that, where how like the first two users might have had more questionable approaches to things, So, like, my question is though, do you guys really think that the other users with like Sunset, also depending on like the lifespan, you got to think the fourth user might have been like, would have been in that like shady timeline too, more than likely. Even though I still think the fourth user or like one of those shaded out ones might have been Brave, because I don't think that Horikoshi would bring that hero up for no reason. So, but
once again, it's like All Might said, they weren't all chosen ones. They were survivors.
Yeah.
So not everybody was. I don't think everybody was just out here getting chosen because you know what, you have a good heart. Because I'm pretty sure not everybody want. You see the way the motherfuckers was dying back then. I'm pretty sure everybody wasn't like, yes, you know, I want to take on this responsibility and this chore. Like
At the end of the day,
people are real and people are selfish, dog. Like nobody really nobody try to take that shit. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
and
like
we find out
everybody
like
was
one
like,
of them is this famous thief that
Yes.
Genta talked about.
if Hanma is a second, third, or fourth user, I would lose my shit. That'd be a raw plot twist.
That's a fucking 11 out of 11 right there.
Yeah, I would love it too. I would love it too. But yeah, the fact just like even with the powers, when you see the theory, one of the heroes is like the first like is the first Japanese hero. It was a reaction to Batman and Zorro. This guy was like, just thinking when I'm thinking about this, who as the first user of One for All, to who will you give you your power? Because you're like, even if you're fighting against your brother try to keep you always in the cell in a room because he wants to have you for him, you know. So you might give your power to one of your guards.
Yeah, like or a captor, or because like we don't know how the first user died.
Yes.
And All for One was not aware that he had it, which in of itself is something that I find kind of interesting because that means that like All for One doesn't necessarily have the ability to detect quirks.
Yes.
So, he doesn't have search.
Right, like
yes.
But like more important to that though, like just I don't know if like just touching people is enough to tell him if you like have a quirk or not, because you would think he would have hugged his brother various times throughout their life as children growing up together and never noticed that his brother had a quirk.
Yes.
So
yeah.
like,
hey Aniki, I actually have to head out, so I just wanted to say thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Damn it, I wanted you here for that. I wanted you here for that one, but all right, you out.
Nah, but all right, you guys take care. Sorry, my mic was being weird.
You too.
Yeah, thank you for coming, man. Really, it was really fun to have you.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Take care. Bye.
Yep.
So yeah, like just touching people isn't even enough, which makes his line with All Might kind of strange because he said, "I confirmed it when we clashed. You don't have All for One anymore. I mean, One for All anymore."
I think he might have said it because he just got so much weaker. Might have realized
I think
last time we met, he was stronger.
Yeah, but that also could have just been him being injured. That's why it's a strange like takeaway. Because like he said, you came at me with your intestines hanging out of your body. Like that kind of permanently nerfs people in real life. So
but just imagine.
I never tried it. I mean,
just imagine how All for One was when he saw All Might. He's the big hole in his chest, but beating his ass like just punching his face like bah, bah. He saw all the organs flying in the air, man. Damn, it must be a nightmare, man.
Yeah, shit. Did All for One rip out All Might's stomach, or did All Might accidentally blow his stomach away, beating All for One's ass? These are the real questions.
Oh.
All right. So I got let's because I want to get two things out before the stream is definitely over. That's on me though. So let me get the questions out from the server. It wasn't that many, so let me get the first one was. Oh shit, we didn't have one this week in Friday's game. Hold on.
Oh sweet.
We just have what if Deku gets more quirks similar to classmates in 1A or 1B, since two quirks relate to Ochiko and Sarah. For some reason, only Shinso can make Deku see his vestiges. Oh, he said, and for some reason, only Shinso can make Deku see his vestiges.
Hold up, that was you like your audio got like lower for some reason. Say that again, East.
Oh shit. Galafowl asks, what if Deku gets more quirks similar to classmates in 1A or 1B, since 2 quirks relate to Ochiko and Sero.
I've thought about this, and I can't imagine.
I kind of think that thematically that works, like him incorporating everyone in his class and like the class and his people into
Well, not
his
quite
forms
everyone,
of
but
saving. Yeah, not quite everyone, but like, but at the same time, I'm trying to think of other quirks in the class right now and how, like, what are like the variants we could get? Like, we can eliminate, for example, tail. Like, Deku's not randomly going to sprout a tail.
Yep.
Like 3 years into having one for all. That would be weird, right?
Maybe
I also think
because you get
it's not going to be the more powerful quirks. I don't think it's going to come up with something like
Yeah,
Kaminari.
Yeah, and I will tell you because, like I said, the transformation quirk is not far from it because you get the 4th one and Devilman, but next to it we get the French type guy. I forgot his name.
Aoyama.
Aoyama, because one of the characters is Ultraman. Ultraman has his special beam, so you can have something with this too.
Yeah, also somebody in chat earlier wrote that he could have some secretion-like quirk, and then maybe could train with Mina.
Yeah, it can be right now secretion quirk because everything that touch about transformative quirk of something related to devils of regeneration can be one of the future quirks in my eyes too, because yeah, Devilman has so many powers, super strength, flying. Also, he can he's half demon. He's like a demon thing, so a monster. So, and having like the transformation quirk, like getting another impermanence, it can learn Deku the side of how people with like other appearance live. It brings another aspect of that Deku becomes a more part of it, like somebody said, Jesus, like he becomes more like a messiah because he knows every part of the society. Every type of quirk. He can also relate to these people.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a good point because, but the only thing that's like weird about that is we have Air Force for ranged attacks, so it's weird. Like it's like a double down, but at the same time, having something that like having a laser and having wind attacks doesn't like. They do different things, right? Like if Deku wants to blow up a building, he has to like physically hit it. Like the wind usually doesn't just like tear through it. So like the wind could end up being like for lower tier opponents, and then he switches to like an amped up laser beam for like the biggest of threats.
To be honest, personally, I would prefer him not to have another actual combat quirk, which just gives him more attack, because I think that with the quirk he has enough for decent attack. Yeah. But I think it would be much more exciting and much more creative if we had like more support quirks.
I hope so too, because we don't know what Hyukoshi can do. Sorry, I was talking in Dutch. What Hyukoshi can do with this quirk? Because every quirk that we saw up till right now has a spin on it. Black Whip is just like a whip. Right now we just use it like the webs of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like a capture weapon at this point.
Superman's power by flying and being super strong, durable, super everything. So you just have the float quirk. We get Kamen Rider, transformative. You just have the superpower for and the style about the antennas and everything. So he just take a part of the power and give a spin on it. So I believe in Horikoshi right now. I'm just curious about what he's gonna do with it right now.
And I think it would add. I think the thing about your theory that is important that gives me that I think gives it the most credence is the fact that it's strange to pick those 7 heroes on the cover or like in that on like page like 5 of the first chapter. You have to pick people. Like he would have done it for a reason, because it's not like he was like, oh, I'm doing a DC shout out, or he literally pulled from like multiple different franchises, countries,
Yes.
companies. So there probably is something, there legitimately should be something to these pages, and like the float from Superman and the black whip from Spider-Man do check out already. Even when you look at the way Daigoro was using it, it was him like running on a wall, similar to like how Spider-Man moves. So the only thing about that though is that like then at that point it's like he would get like these small claws, and I think that's the extent of those claws. Like I think it would just stop at the claws. And I think the Devilman form could be really interesting as a concept, specifically because if he unlocks that, or like he has like the Devilman form, and then he's out here using multiple different quirks, the way everything stacks up could be rather interesting, because you could have like this demonic looking thing that shows up with you got black whips going all over the place, and it's like flying in the air, and that looks like some Return of Cthulhu shit. So,
oh man, I just have an image right now of Deku like being like a devilish messiah right now.
right, and like that's the other thing that I kind of like about Shigaraki having the white hair, because that's usually like the white, the light, it's all like paired, but like Deku was gonna have like dark green and in the manga black hair.
Remember when you said that he would have this black whip arm? The first thing I thought about was in one of the Hellsing Ultimate overs when Sarah Victoria lost her arm, and that looked a little bit like a black whip arm.
Yeah,
and that was so devilish, demonish.
Right, and I kind of like the idea of Deku being able to shape it just to make it look a little more like an arm, but it's still like you'll still have like the shadowy energy flowing, and you'll still see that it's like
it would still be warpable, like it could turn into anything else.
Because my dream attack is like one of the post time skip things that we see is like he comes up and he's like doing some black whip stuff, and then he like turns it into a fist, makes it bigger, and then like is like black smash and just crushes somebody into the ground.
Yeah.
And so like those kinds of variables to his attacks and mix-ups is what I'm like looking into, is like how creative can Horikoshi get with like what he's set up.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's the second question, East?
I think that's the only ones we got. If I missed your question though, you just tag me in the Discord with the Q&A at. All right, and then I'll see it and I'll get it to us. So the first two topics I got to bring up. So the first one, which will be shorter than the next one. I want to go to the next one last before we finish up the stream. Dobby. Do y'all think that Dobby actually cares? Yes or no?
Carries?
Actually, what?
You say carries?
Cares for the people in his team. The LOV. Yes or no?
Yes or no? I think with Twice he said that he did care, but he didn't really look like he cared that much.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
I do think he's one of those people that kind of care, but there's just stuff that's more important.
Yes, he's more like focused on his goal.
I don't think he cares at all. I don't think he cares. I feel like he cares about them to the extent that they can help him achieve his goal.
Okay, that's a good thing to say.
Yeah, like it's weird because on one hand, like Horikoshi straight up said he feels like Twice is a brother to him, but that also could have just been Horikoshi not letting us know yet that that he's a fucking Starscream, right? Yeah. So like hiding that from us, like it becomes. Do I think he can care about these people? Yes. But he's also been very direct in saying that he dislikes them multiple times. I do think Dobby is friends with Compressed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
They do kind of like riff on each other a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I do kind of feel like they actually seem to have like a dynamic going, but everybody else.
Like he definitely doesn't care to them to the extent that they care for each other. Like it's not to the extent that Toga or Twice care.
Do you think that Dobby is maybe a triple agent?
A trip? Well, how to be a triple agent? Like what you saying?
I don't know.
He worked for the league. Actually worked for the league.
Maybe that he worked like for somebody else. I don't know, because the more I think about it, the more that he's like. He said that he will be the one to be on the top, you know. So we know that he's working from himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's a double agent, but I think he does have his own agenda. because he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't believe he worked for anybody besides himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Dobby
That would
doesn't.
be it if it turned out that he's actually like Hawks. He was just put there by the Hero
Yeah.
That would piss.
Association
That would
Yes.
kind of piss me
and
off.
then
'cause
went
I'm
his
like,
own way and betrayed them.
Yeah, that will be
Okay, that'd
that will
be-
be one
that'd
of
be
the
okay, that'd be okay.
one of the best. That will be one of the best thing that
Oh, no.
My Hero Academia. If he turns out to be somebody from the Hero Association,
Time out. He was in the Hero Association. more
Yeah,
than
that's
likely.
why, because he made that comment to Hawks, so it would
Yeah,
be
yes.
technically possible
would-
that like
like-
Hawks he was
oh
placed
no.
there. but-
I thought you were saying like he was still part of the Hero Commission.
No.
Yeah, that would have pissed me off. That would have if he was still part of the Hero Commission. But no,
That
you
wouldn't
said-
even make sense because the Hero Commission would have basically greenlit like 500 murders.
Yeah, that's
Minimum.
why I think
No. But that he went rogue. That he went rogue.
Yeah, no. He was there as a kid. In fact, like one of the things that I think happened, because Endeavor says I might as well have killed him. One of the things that I think happened was Endeavor like forced him to do some really tough training, and then was like, actually, the Hero Commission has a program, sent him in there, and that's how he ended up knowing about Kago. So, then to me, the disillusionment with Hero Society would make even more sense if he grew up in a home with the number 2 hero as his father that was ridiculously abusive, got sent into the Hero Commission to be forced to be a hero, only to find out like they're literally like training children from like 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
to become heroes and their personal weapons.
Well,
the only question would then be why
I just thought
do they
about
think
it.
he's dead. So there
Right.
actually would be a theory
I
here
was
that
about to say that.
he trained with the Hero Association for a while. He got disillusioned, but he just stayed with them because he had no real way to get out or to do anything else. And then they kind of pushed him into this villain path to kind of go undercover. And they told everybody that he had died because he now has to go undercover, so he can't be still alive. He can't be still visiting his family or whatever, or be visited by his family, whatever.
Well, the thing about that
So
is
everybody
that-
thinks
I
he's
was gonna say,
died
I
because
was
he
act-
officially was said to be dead, and
You get
and then he
feedback.
just
Yeah.
went his own way as soon as he officially
Well-
was declared dead.
Yeah, I was
Like
gonna.
the
I was
finishing-
thinking about the part about them like saying that he died. I was thinking that too, but what I don't agree with is that they sent him in because that would have meant he would have turned within the past year. I don't
Yeah,
think that.
I don't think that's
No,
what
I
happened.
mean,
No, man.
I think he obviously joined the League of Villains because he heard Stains. I think we saw that even that panel when
And
he heard
and
Stains.
No,
Stain changed his life.
I get it. I get it. But I'm saying like more so about. I don't think they put him on a mission or anything like that because
No.
the thing is,
What
Yeah, 'cause I
happened
feel
was,
because
as
like
a
he's
kid,
yeah.
he was injured, and they basically threw him away. That's how I look at this.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think he's had any mission to join villains. I feel like he joined the mission of his own volition.
Yeah, like, and think if you look at the way, like, because here's the thing: the way they talk to Hawks about how, like, yeah, there's no accolades in this, it didn't sound like this was a new thing even. So the idea that maybe they were already training multiple kids, and he found out about other kids being used this way, got injured in some kind of training incident
definitely.
or whatever. And then, because I still think that one of the big clues about who Dobby is comes from, I might have ran into you when you were younger, but don't remember, where he might have been like heavily injured and they were like, we don't want this quirk for like a Nomu or anything. So they just threw him in like an orphanage and called it a day. Because Dobby's quirk, like the fire counters like the hyper regeneration. And yes, to a certain degree, like it can keep up, but Dobby's is way hotter than Endeavor's. So the blowback would be higher and more than likely would instantly char.
But
and
then
not be
why
useful.
think that he died? I mean, why wouldn't they just
because-
send him to
because-
Endeavor
because-
and say, you deal with him, it's your son, we don't need him anymore?
Because they could have lied to him, told him he died. Imagine what people have been saying about fucking about what they've been saying about Best Genius, about how he's possibly not dead either. It's a fake body. They have ways of doing that if that's the case.
Well, the thing is that do you want to be like, yo, Endeavor, we killed your
Yeah,
your kid, like your kid is useless? I don't think they do that.
Yeah, but
because-
would they rather say like your kid is useless than would they rather say we killed your
No.
son instead of
I think
he's
what
useless.
they did, because the way that his face and his body was burned, they tried something, and they saw him. They said, okay, this guy is dead. He's dead for us. We can present ourselves to the number 2 hero, the one who can feel everything right now. because the one who was solving the most cases because he's intelligent is number 2 hero Endeavor. So you just have to say to him, okay, your child died because he tried to copy your burning
Prominence
sky.
burn.
Prominence burn.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they would do. I still don't understand why it makes more sense for them to say your son died instead of saying, well, he's useless, you can have him back.
Because of
Because
the
he probably
severity of his injury.
because he probably was maimed. He was probably maimed, and they don't want to show, and they don't want to take responsibility for that. They don't want to show that.
Yeah,
Like-
but it's worse if he died than if he's just maimed.
No,
See,
No,
because-
not to him. Not to him. 'Cause
No.
you have to remember what type of person he was back then.
Yeah,
He's
but to
not
the
the-
Hero Association, what would you if you're the Hero
The-
Association, right? And you had
the
this
hero-
child in your care from somebody else who is this great hero and
They
great
gave him
investigator.
they
Would you
gave
rather
him
just say,
cinders.
well, he's useless now. He's injured. Have him back. We don't need
They
him
gave
anymore.
I don't think.
They
I
gave
don't
him
think-
ash.
well, he's
They gave him
dead.
ash.
He actually
The Hero
isn't dead.
Commission doesn't. For me, it just makes more sense because the Hero Commission doesn't think that way. The Hero Commission, the Hero Commission probably would be the type to be like, oh well, no, he's we fucking maimed this kid. He has no use to us, so he might as well be fucking dead.
Yeah, but it would be,
And
way
not to mention-
easier
and not to
for them to
mention-
just
and
give
not
him
to
back to
mention-
Endeavor.
No, I was gonna say not to mention he is in their back. He was in their back pocket. He knows their stuff, so they can't just let him go.
Yep.
They can't just let him go back to just normal life because he knows all
But
the
they
shit.
just let him go free.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily let him go free either. That's another thing you have to keep in mind. I'm not saying they necessarily just said, "Oh, yeah, just fuck off." No, I don't think they did that either. I feel
No.
like he got out on his own.
Yeah,
And
because
also- and I
also
think that-
remember
and-
what they told Hawks. You have to give up your name. So
Yep.
more than likely, Endeavor kind of made peace, and then was like, oh, like how's things going? And they were like, we're not giving him back. He's dead. Keep doing work.
Not only this, and
It
I
just
think
seems
that,
it just seems more risky to me because if Endeavor
Yeah.
is this great investigator,
Yeah.
like this great hero,
give
there's a certain danger that he would find out the truth and find out that he lied. And
So
as
they
far as
gave
I can
him
understand,
Ash.
Endeavor wouldn't care one way or the other if he's
No,
dead
no,
or if he's named.
they
Wouldn't care
gave
one way
him-
or the other.
well,
they
that's
gave him ash. He gave him ash
no.
because
Ponzi,
I think-
okay. So the thing about this is that I try to what I'm trying to do is factor in where Endeavor's personality was at the time.
Exactly.
And so, because if he was so fucking hateful and angry,
Mhm.
that he might have just kind of been it might have been better in their eyes to tell Endeavor his son was dead than to tell him he was a failure.
Ah,
Because, again,
it
Endeavor.
would still mean it's a failure. I mean, that.
But
in those days, it
having,
means it's a failure.
Endeavor would be no, as abusive as Endeavor was, just imagine how much harder that stuff goes and gets amped up and how toxic it is. He probably didn't even because the thing is, he probably gave them to the commission under the pretense that he wasn't interested in having to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So he was he had kind of I think he kind of already had started to wash his hands of Toya. So it was easier to be he's dead than to try to convince Endeavor to take him back, which is really fucked up. But that's kind of where I think he was back then.
and you see how he acts on vigilantes. I think that
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
The last-
he
was fucked up. He was fucked-
on some shit.
I was in Vigilantes, what Endeavor did in Vigilantes, I was thinking to myself, damn, he doesn't give a fuck, man.
Yeah, we know Toya was around, so that's why it has to be when he was a kid that this happened.
Mhm.
But
I
we know
just
that.
need more of an explanation why they would lie to
Oh
him.
yeah, we
Because
just
it
need in
makes-
general we
it
need
makes,
more from
To me,
Dottie.
it really makes no sense why they would purposefully go to the effort to fake his death instead of just saying, well, we don't need him anymore. Do with him what you want. I mean, even if Endeavor wouldn't like that, even if he would fly off the handle.
For me, it just comes down to we need an explanation for how Dobby isn't involved with if he's going to be Toya, he can't be at home anymore. So why do they think he's dead? But then you also have to explain why he knows about Keigo Takami, who's in the Hero Commission and has
Yeah, but
been
I
since
think
he
it
was
would
5.
make much more sense if they had an actual reason to tell him he's dead. Well, he's actually not dead, and they still need him for something.
Somebody said that one of the Hero Association employees might have felt bad for him and tried to get him free.
I mean,
And that's where
what you think it's an X-23 type shit?
I think there's I think the implication would be he got super injured. they were like, no, I'm not gonna make this kid go through this anymore. Told the commission that it failed, and like immediately like hit the body, and the commission was like, oh, I guess it failed, and I guess he's dead. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, that would make
Endeavor.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if something like that happened, I can see it. Way to go, Chris. Shout out to Chris Green in the chat.
I mean, it would then leave open how he ended up where he ended up being this cruel, brutal.
Something bad. Well, I mean, he had already been abused most of his childhood, got heavily maimed.
Yeah,
by
but then
the
he got
Hero
taken
Commission.
on by somebody, which he started. Of course, it would explain why he would be villain, but he was in a really bad place.
I would assume that something bad happened to the person from the Hero Commission that betrayed them.
Probably.
Or like he just died, or like in a villain attack, or just something else that like happened to that person, so he doesn't have his light. You know what I mean? Or that person got like something crazy happened when they were trying to get him out, so like that person was injured. So,
yeah,
like,
or
that
the Hero
person saved him.
Commission found out like 5 years later and destroyed that person, and he's like, "Oh, that's my hero," and you killed him.
So there's no heroes. There's no heroes like that, and that's how he got to that point. So yeah, that's how that goes. All right, East. What's the second one? Wait, is East even still here?
I was in.
Fell asleep.
Whenever he gets back, I was gonna say, I'm very surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't try to talk about fucking JJK at all today.
Man,
I didn't read it.
We don't even have time to get into that right now.
About what?
We're getting close to when I gotta like go to work, and by go to work I mean like switch computers.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up because that shit made me. I'm a believer of mojito now.
Oh yeah, you got to be a mojito believer after that. Oh,
No, wait,
have a good day, Brandon.
Don't guys say
Yes,
anything. I didn't read it.
I'm not gonna ruin it for you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything. All I'm gonna say is that this week I think it was. This is one of the first weeks I'll personally say I think it was better than Chainsaw Man.
Ooh.
Good. Whoa. Really?
If you still have questions, you're muted. I don't know if that's the reason why you're so quiet.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'd say it was better than Chainsaw Man this week.
See, now I haven't read Chainsaw Man yet this week though, so I don't know. I'm saving that for after the stream because I don't want to risk something happening and me being all fucked up on the stream again like that one time.
No. This might have been the tamest chapter of Chainsaw Man I've read yet.
Okay. I don't know.
So it's like it's not a bad chapter. It's just more like I was expecting a little bit more from this one. So I gotta give it to the kid this week.
Yeah, I've been here the
Anyway,
entire time. By the way,
now.
I heard literally everything you said.
Okay, just trying to make sure you was here.
Yeah, I'm at work, and the minute I brought up the topic, my customer came in to get me. So.
Oh, okay.
What are you gonna say?
Out here grinding at the job. Gotta love Archbishop East, bro.
What was the topic?
Nothing wrong with that topic.
Wait, what's the topic real quick, East?
Hold on.
Oh, wait, yeah, okay. Just let him handle the thing at work real quick. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is whenever you read Chainsaw Man, you might want to get a bag of McDonald's with you.
Okay, guys, I'm reading like my Black Clover right now, so I think I'm going out.
Sleep.
Sleep well, man.
All right. See you, Pontu.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Ponzi.
Thank you.
See you.
Ian popped back in.
Oh wow.
All right. Let's see. It's pretty good. Anime coming out soon. Yeah, Coyote. I'd say watch the anime and decide if you want to read it from there once it drops.
Yeah, since it's
since it's coming out in 2 weeks, like just go ahead and let yourself watch the anime.
I got like a 100% positive optimism on like this one. They shortened it to 22 episodes. They keep the pacing up, and then the director said, I'm trying to be as faithful as possible to the source material. So after everything else, you got the voice acting, character design, music, all that. Shit, you looking at the next. I'm trying to keep saying it, but you got the next Attack on Titan MHA season 1 boost coming.
I'm here for that. Oh wait, what's that second topic? While you got the time? Shit.
I really don't got the time. I'll have it in like 2 minutes. I had to go fucking switch something out.
I really lost the plot. I have no idea.
I don't know why y'all worried about that plaza. God damn.
I
had to yell at my coworkers.
I'm about to go get a new phone. So
you know what? Fuck it. I'll just save it for later. You know.
Yeah, well, we'll just save it for the next stream.
Don't worry. I mean, it's only gonna backfire on people who
are you still Are you still gonna do that fucking one on Sunday for the other shit?
I could. Is that like if we do it Sunday, it's not going to be like a live reaction stream. That'll just be like us talking about the other series and jump.
Mashal and
Yeah,
Undead
of
Unluck.
course.
If you haven't read it, go read it. Those are the prime series we're talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna lead with Mashal and Undead Unluck though for sure.
Hello.
I'll be quiet as fuck on Undead because I'm only 5 chapters in that.
Man, you got time.
Yeah, I'm getting a new phone. I'm about to ball out right now. Hold on.
Coyote.
Yeah, you could be reading.
This is me touching my ceiling. You can't keep putting up the short agenda if I can touch my ceiling.
Please, I can touch my ceiling too.
Can't relate.
It's fairly low.
Can't relate. You're all giants.
No, my ceiling is just very low. It's.
Listen. I don't care about being tall. I like tall women. It's easier for me to get tossed around. We on that Fujimoto gimmick, boy.
All right.
Fuck my life up.
And on
I was standing on my chair, like what?
On that note, I'll say that fucking My Hero was amazing this week. Read JJK.
Read Chainsaw Man.
I would say read Chainsaw Man, but not this week.
That chapter
not this week.
That's my usual takeaway. Read Chainsaw Man, but not this week. Read JJK.
Yeah, all right, same.
All right, let's get final thoughts on the chapter, starting with Ian. Final thoughts.
Great chapter. I loved that the Deku characterization. I'm really excited for the future of the series. And a small little moment I enjoyed is Uraraka, after she's like, oh, Bakugo is being a big old jerk training. She like raises her fist to be like, I'll help, but she's like clearly trying to like push Bakugo away, and so is like Sue. And I just think that's funny that Bakugo's at the point where he'll just let people do that to him. So that was just really funny. So great chapter.
Yeah, his like actually having comedic interactions with people willingly is a big step. Sayas?
I love this chapter, especially the conversation between Bakugo and All Might. Just great. Looking forward to if we find out more about that and about the fourth and about whatever Bakugo is thinking, because we don't really find out much about what Bakugo's thinking. He's just questioning a lot of things.
Yeah, we just know that he's detecting the Dumbledore.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to next chapter, which is going to be great. And I expect Endeavor to do something. But yeah, fine.
He is gonna do.
You got your ability to throw in your final words, East.
Yeah, crazy enough, I'm now not busy when I fucking when all this fucking dust settles. Well, since everybody touched on everything else, and it's just us in here now. What I like to say is everybody touched on everything. You already know, 10 out of 10, like every other chapter Horikoshi dropped. Day one. That's the GOAT right there. But what I want to touch on is one of the greatest art pieces ever in MHA. Ochiko with the bun and her fucking headband. That has got to be some of the cutest shit I have ever seen. We're in the middle of a fucking war. Niggas are dying left and right, getting turned to dust. You ain't finna see your favorite characters alive ever again. And meanwhile, Horikoshi just go ahead and draw some of the most adorable shit I've ever seen in MHA. Like, come on, man. That shit made my heart. I was like, they just so cute. Look at my kids, man. It's sad how they all finna suffer though, because they finna lose their entire country. But that's besides the point. Anyway, I got one final message I want to say. So now it's story time. I think it was about 2-3 years ago, man. I see myself jobless, no job, man. You know what I'm saying? Working at this furniture store. And then I'm over here watching Dustin streams. Like, damn, man. If only I finally found somebody who understands MHA. If only I could be on here, man. Chibi don't do reviews. He kind of fell off. Now, man, I'm watching Dustin. Like, man, these guys understand it, man. Dustin gets it, man. Pain over here hating. Fast forward again, like, man, 2 years ago, then I find myself in Dustin's stream scrambling to get in as a new guy. I found myself struggling on the come up once again. Then the fucking whole year again, I found myself on Aniki and Shisu. So grateful to meet these people, man. And then the time fast forwards again, we talk about, man, we should get these streams going. We should do this. We could build a community properly because nobody's really out here doing it like they need to be doing it. And now we got my own church, man. I got these people I love that come on stream every Friday, every Sunday, man. And I wouldn't be here without you people in the chat. Wouldn't be here without Aniki. Wouldn't be here without Sayas, BG, Shiro coming through that one time, Ponzu, man. Fucking Ian, the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate all you guys coming through, man. Dustin, Flo, everybody. I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart that you guys gave me this chance and we're here today. Shout out to you. Shout out to Horikoshi. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Aniki. MHA the GOAT. Yerk!
All right,
Aww.
so
Aw.
he's trying to get me all emotional, so I'm gonna just let this stream wrap up. No, it is actually like I was talking to East about that the other day though, and that is something that we were like, yeah, like let's build the church for MHA. Like we definitely like we even have like the group chat and everything on Twitter. So like this was something that we were trying to do on purpose, like to like build up a podcast and like have interactions and like get us all talking. And so yeah, like this actually is kind of cool. Like this is like a dream, like coming true in real life in real time. So like yeah, like you said, I do appreciate you guys, and I'm glad that we have a story that is good enough that like it inspires and moves me, but like it helps and encourages a lot of you guys too. And that's kind of why like even though like East was like yeah, like this really wholesome, like this was very wholesome, and it kind of did bring you back to like the heart of some of these characters and what like My Hero's kind of about and what these kids' journeys is really for, and how like yeah, they're still kids, they're still trying to figure out who they are and like how they're going to move forward in life and improve, but they also are going to have to deal with the fact that life doesn't wait for that, and that's like an important thing to take away from what's happening in this chapter, especially having the juxtaposition of the flashback with this all-out battle with Shigaraki. So that's just something that I appreciate Hori doing, and in general, that was a good chapter. I loved it, and I appreciate everybody that came through, especially like Roger, East, Ian, BG. Especially you, like Sayaz. Sayaz, you've been around
Thank you.
discussing. No, like Sayaz has been around like discussing MHA forever with me. Like I've met Sayaz before East. Like Sayaz sat there and rabbit and watched over like 10 episodes of My Hero
Half
with
season,
me.
I think.
Yeah, we finished season 3 together. Like so. Yeah, it's a blast. Thanks everybody for coming through. We are probably going to do a Sunday OVA where we'll discuss the rest of Jump on Sunday. So like if you want to come through for that, Sayaz, you're always welcome, of course, too. So yeah, with that, I think the stream's going to wrap up here. But thank you from all of us, for real.
Love you guys.
Yo.